Would you like to play with me?
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, what?
Excuse you?
What? I'm sorry.
Oh,
what?
cool. You've got
Let's
like
have
a...
look, see.
My Mac is so shit.
There we go. Haha,
So
dude.
this, if I just move out of the
Oh.
way for a sec. Oh,
You might have to
no.
flip. Can you flip the image, Tash?
Is it back to front?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
yeah.
I can. I didn't realise it was. It's weird. It's not on my screen. How bizarre.
Oh,
There's a woofer.
whoa! What's going on
Bizarre.
with my head?
Oh, that looks very cool.
There we go. It's flipped. So this is
Nice.
live.
Ooh,
What's
we're doing
live?
it live.
Don't we always do it live?
Yeah.
Now, if
Once a week.
if you look at the video of us in our little models, it's a live video, as in
Yeah, I can see. Yeah,
it's a
nice.
live stream.
We're always live, Tashi.
What's that
I don't
noise?
see the point in this.
It's me plugging in.
Shouting.
Okay, so boys, with a first of all, welcome viewers. We should first say and get through a couple announcements, which are on Monday. What's the date on Monday?
31st of May.
The 31st
Yeah.
of May. So in a few days, we are doing a daytime session for most of the day, which we will be streaming if all goes to plan.
And we'll be touching each other physically.
We will be physically in the same space.
Yeah.
For the first
I'm
time
gonna get
since
overexcited and punch someone.
since like before Christmas. When
I'll
did
take
we
it.
last meet up? It was literally
Like November, I think.
it was November, wasn't it? And even
Yeah.
then, we only managed to play a few weeks, and then before that, we only played once or twice in the
Yeah,
summer.
one, maybe three. It's
Um,
nuts.
And then,
Yeah.
and then before that, all the way until basically the beginning of 2020. So it's a momentous occasion, and the boys, the Gypsies of Fortune, finding themselves in the metropolis of Xanthar City. Who knows what mischief and revelry they shall get up to here. So, without further ado, boil up a pot, take a seat by the hearth, and enjoy a fine brew with thine journeyman questers.
Mine, John.
Only the finest brew.
Get in the
I'm
journey
eating a
with
pie.
us. And let's do a quest together.
Where's our? Where's? Oh, I had down the playing. That's such a shame.
I can't hear the music.
Get
Oh,
your
it's not
music
playing through my screen.
What? Is there music?
on. So,
I just hear blood rage.
welcome back, everyone. Let's get some dinners in the chat before we start. Josh, fresh dinner? What are you having?
Oh, I feel like I say this every time, but I'm having a spicy bean burger. It's just
Spicy
a perfect meal for a D&D night.
The perfect accompaniment.
Yes.
I would
yes.
disagree and say that James's magical assorted items, assorted magical items, are the perfect accompaniment to any D&D session, but they are
And a
unfortunately-
dinner.
Unfortunately, not edible. Please do not try and eat James's cards.
Can eat them.
Right, let's get this on instead. Rupert, what are you having for dinner?
I have had a very slightly underdone ristorante pizza, which with a substandard, once delicious cider that is soured somewhat after 2 weeks sitting in a
I think
bag.
you mean apple juice, as we are live on stream.
Yeah,
Yes,
of course, yeah.
it's called
Yeah.
cedar.
Uh,
Like the
Mike?
tree.
I drink heavily.
What are you gonna have for dinner?
I'm gonna have my D&D pizza. So it's the vegan Chicago town
Oh,
smoky mushroom and
I feel like that's the classic.
Yeah.
That's a classic
Yeah.
Hove sessions. It was just everyone. The
Yeah.
oven. It was so hot in that room because the oven was on for about an hour and a half
yeah,
while everyone was doing their pizzas.
fucking love it.
Sweaty.
Sweaty.
Theo,
How do
you're
you describe
usually-
your own sessions?
Theo, you're
Sweaty.
usually having something pretty decadent. delicious.
Nothing right this second, but right now I'm having a wonderful soft drink called a Nitro Imperial Vietnamese Coffee Stout.
A wonderful soft drink.
For that caffeine, it's delightful, and yeah.
I am gonna partake in maybe just some egg fried rice, maybe at some point, but I'm not sure. I haven't decided.
I've made a pasta sauce, and the rest is left up to my lovely
Your spouse.
lovely lady. Yeah, my spouse. She's roasting some various goodies, and I will be sure to show everyone when it arrives.
Delicious. Well, in the meantime, let us catch ourselves up with what had happened in the last session. You made your way to Xanthar City itself, the great metropolis, capital of the Empire of the Moon, the Elven Empire, which essentially spans across most of Beblia, Beblia being the largest continent on your planet that I don't think I've ever named the planet. Maybe there is a name for it. You travel.
Can we name it?
You no.
Let chat name it.
Whoever is here, if you're here, you get the honours of naming the planet we're on.
First
And-
come, first serve.
First
Yeah.
come, first pay.
Unfortunately, not how it's going to work. But
It's okay. It's okay, DM. No one is watching us.
You made your way from Soulreach in western Beblia, like the very far western edge of the Empire, through the Elven Embassy, led by the Cardinal of the Lunar Gate, a higher powered, I guess, imperial ambassador of the Empire, and through the embassy using a teleportation sigil which spanned to multiple other glyphs, creating a larger, more encompassing teleportation circle. You, along with a procession of priests and acolytes and bureaucrats, as well as Celeste herself and Babe, new, fresh, angelic blue Babe, and some what you have been told by Dutch are called Inquisitors. These deadly and dangerous bodyguards for the higher ups in the Empire. Upon arriving in the Andriont, as it was known, essentially the raised plateaued area of Xanthar City, which encompasses all of the noble districts. The districts include the kind of palace area, the military ward, as well as, let me get the map up on my, hang on here. Yeah, as well as the Mages University and the Senate, as well as partially part of the Andriont, one section that isn't cut off by one of the great canals, leads to Saloon's ward, the 6th ward, and kind of connects via the Grand Temple of Saloon, which is where your procession began to head. From the top of the Andriant, it's just a huge area, multiple districts. You could see across a lot of the city. You could see huge domed, sparkling roofs, towers that went up high into the sky. You approached the Grand Temple of Saloon, which was just majestically large. The Temple of Saloon, back in Soulreach, dwarfed in comparison to this. The several miniature domed buildings connecting to the central building of the temple were equal in size, one of those small domes equal in size to the entire temple back in Soulreach. The central huge domed building, it's almost just becomes not even a building anymore. It is so large. Inside there are multiple small buildings within another building, and for the likes of Zook, who is only really seen people gather together in a minor amount compared to the thousands that congregated here to witness some kind of divine moment in history that would take place. A small council of cardinals and bishops stood in a central what did we call it? It's not a gazebo. That's what I said. You guys said a much better word.
Pavilion.
It's like a bandstand. We came up with a really good word for it. I imagine it in my head, and I never have the exact word. Essentially, a raised area in the very center of the Grand Temple, with its own small domed roof, guarded heavily by multiple rows of the royal kind of guard, as well as you could see there were a few inquisitors there. You ascended the steps, but only Saloon and Ruthus, managing to persuade his way in, were allowed up to the top. Celeste, seeming quite nervous, Ruthus encouraged her and stood by her side as her uncle. At the top of this small stage, with the thousands on looking, the moonlight shone down through a central hole in the ceiling, a shaft of it cascading down into this kind of central basin. A figure stood upon this dais, which you came to realize was the Emperor himself, the Emperor of the Empire of the Moon. Probably the most powerful man on the planet, potentially. Probably the most powerful mortal in existence, if he even is mortal. Although he looked to be of a grand age, a high elf, unlike you had seen. Elves don't tend to age badly. They keep and retain a youthful presence to them throughout their lives, but the Emperor himself, wizened and old, and you could only really imagine the ancient, or the sheer vast scope of his life that has existed before this. A presence exuded from him, a presence of a fatherly figure, and he even placed a hand upon Ruthus's head, something that maybe kids of Xanthar City, Dylan Dutch, might you would have never even seen the Emperor, let alone been in the Andriant, probably not that many times. The gangs of Xanthar City tend to not come to the Andriant because it is just so heavily guarded. It's like the palace area. It's also kind of where the royal section sits, and Dutch, as you know, part of the codes of the criminal underworld are set in place, and some of these might clash with certain things. Plus, just not a good place to, although there's a lot of wealth, not a good place to be caught because potentially of the Inquisitors. So, without me rambling on too much, we ended the session with this creature, this humanoid, immaculately muscular, chiseled humanoid male with huge, feathery, white plumaged wings. I said blue skin originally. That was totally wrong. I meant blue hair. It's the same as the babe. The babe has blue hair, the normal skin. It has the same blue hair, but the kind of shiny, shimmery skin. Descending from this beam of moonlight, the almost zero kind of gravity effect as the hair kind of washed around like they're underwater. They landed, scooping up the babe, kissing it upon its forehead, looking across the sea of people, and taking off once more up and vanishing into the bright, shining light of the moon. And as the moonlight begins to fade, as the moon once passes its zenith, heading back towards the horizon, sconces and blue light lights up within the temple as people murmur. And then, seemingly satiated by this momentous moment, begin to slowly disperse, chattering amongst themselves. You know, it's like after a gig, you know, when people are kind of leaving, except people aren't drunk and they're kind of.
Is there anyone shouting for an encore?
No, there's a throng of noise as people essentially begin to leave. You walk down the steps. Yeah, a few thousand. Yeah, definitely. Like, I put some pictures up on the Roll20. I will credit the artists on our Instagram, just as an idea of the scope of certain things and the feel of what you're seeing, because it is quite hard to imagine the sheer scale. And as you step back down, you had a small conversation with Celeste, who told you that she had known that this would happen. She had been briefed to a small extent, and she seemed happy. She seemed pleased that her child had been chosen by a god, and this entity, maybe one of Saloon's demigods, had come and whisked it away. And with that, you began to walk back down the steps, back to meet the group, Rufus and Celeste, as everyone else kind of begins to slowly disperse. You are left at the bottom of the steps, looking up.
Rufus's brow is furrowed, and he looks annoyed. And then he's chatting with Celeste as they come back down the steps. Celeste, I don't understand. We've come all this way, and you've just given your child away.
Rufus, I haven't given it away at all.
I didn't know that this was going to be the outcome.
She places a hand on your shoulder, looking down into your eyes, and it's because I knew that you have a good heart, and this is how you would act. I've heard the tales of you bringing back a child from the forest, and I know that you potentially lost yours. I have not lost my child. He has gone somewhere far better than this place. Somewhere that he can be with Saloon, be with our god.
Yes, but shouldn't he be with his mother?
If he was a normal child, perhaps. But Saloon is the Moon Mother. I am merely her vassal.
And you're truly happy about this?
I have a small amount trepidation. What is that? Who is that? Who is
Mike.
that? Mike.
Of course.
Mike.
It's always Mike.
Stop dinging.
Stop being on Facebook. Stop social mediaing.
I had it open so I could join the fucking Zoom chat.
Ah.
Be back 1 second.
There is a small part of me, and she kind of begins to talk about it, but you see approaching you the Cardinal of the Lunar Gate, whose name? Finenia Quell. She approaches kind of with a small escort of various people. Well, how are you feeling, Celeste? And she turns and kind of just reiterates some of the similar things. All the people are kind of behind her, kind of eagerly awaiting. And she turns towards them and kind of essentially, like shooing paparazzi, you know, we need to give her some space, some time, please. I have arranged a few things for your stay. You'll be staying in the ephemeral wing. You are tired, I'm sure. It is late. As you remember, this took place. You know, you've been kind of celebrating in Soul Reach with the festival, and during the night you came here as this took place, like kind of in the dead of night. We will provide the best rooms for you and all of your entourage. And she gestures towards you, Gypsies. Please follow me. We should leave this place. There are far too many people that wish to meet you, Celeste. We must get you somewhere where you can rest and be with yourself, and be with Saloon. And she begins escorting you from the temple. Are you all following?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zook's looking around at the crowd, just like wide-eyed and looking up at the ceiling, very baffled, and just turns to Dutch and says, "Did you know about this? Birdmen coming down from the sky and stealing children?"
That's new.
I have to say, it doesn't sit well with me. A child, in all aspects, in every kind of creature, they have some moment of raising them. I mean, for wolves, it's short, of course, but they have some time. I don't.
Maybe that thing that came down is gonna raise the baby. It looked like the dad.
This is all very, well, it's all very big. I don't understand any of it. I'm just going to stick
What
with
happens to them? Where do they go? What futures do they have?
Do you think they live here, or is that some gate to another world?
This is merely another case of gods meddling in mortal affairs.
You can see Dylan's form is still in his lycanthrope form. He's slightly more bestial than you've seen him prior. And as you're making your way out of the temple, you can see lots of people are, you know, almost lining to watch and see and catch a glimpse of Celeste, the mother of this babe. You can hear whispering and pointing and excited faces, and they're all sort of taking you all in. It's uncomfortable for some of you, those that maybe don't like the attention of hundreds of people watching them. For others, I don't know, maybe it's nice, maybe it's something you're not used to, but it's good nevertheless. You begin making your way through the throngs of people out back into the kind of Andrion Square, where you can see the kind of gardens and the statues and the waterfalls, the kind of fountains and all sorts sit. There's beautiful kind of palms of different kinds, kind of lining the different roads and squares. It's all very open, and you can, you're raised higher than the rest of the city at this point, although it's hard to kind of see. So you just kind of see a bit like Manhattan, where you see the ends, but it's water beyond, so there's nothing. But because you're slightly higher, it just ends with, sky. You can't see rooftop on rooftop on rooftop because you're not near enough to the edge of the Andrion to see across. You can see the occasional spire. As you're leaving, the moonlight that's now kind of cascading from an angle catches what looks to be something floating in the sky. And you see above what looks to be a kind of spired university a ways away, a few towers kind of connected by various bridges, just stationary in the air, not grounded in any way. You can see lights and things within. You even catch sight of a few perhaps people just floating about and making their way in through windows or doors.
Sweet roots and radishes.
Do we know what that is?
Yes. So, Dylan Dutch, you would know that is the Mages University of Xanthar City. The floating island, or the floating towers, as they're aptly called, have been there since you were young. But there looks to be maybe a few more towers have been added to the floating complex. Not that you've ever visited or really been in the Andrion much.
Wouldn't we have seen? Where were we then when we saw Rufus's daughter with the vat of dragon spunk?
So you were on the bridge. So the Andriont, there's many canals, huge wide canals that cut through the city. And the Andriont kind of sits on its own section, a little bit like how Soul Reach is designed, although much larger and much more complex. There are many long bridges that cross these canals, and you met. There's one that cuts across to the Andriont side where the Mages University is, and that's where you were crossing when you met Sparrow.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think you briefly have stepped onto the Andriont, but you're unlikely to have really visited this. It's just not somewhere where.
Yeah, we needed to go.
No. Making your way through as the throngs of people begin to kind of disperse and leave, you're led towards some of the beautiful buildings on one side of the Andriont, a ways away from the Lunar Temple, and probably on the other side to the Mages University. A kind of collection of almost, they look like palaces to you. These long, tall, domed, arched kind of windows set into many pillars. There's kind of courtyards, more statues and fonts and fountains. There's like immaculately sculpted bronze braziers all over the place. And people around this area of the Andriont seem to... it's almost like its own smaller village, known as the ephemeral wing. As you begin to approach what looks to be a kind of guest house, although it's it could easily house a lord from wherever. Rufus, it's up to Soul Reach Palace standards. It's that, but just for the kind of noble guests. And you can see there is there's a tavern, or it looks like to be some kind of sprawling bar complex with a sign that says the Cinnamon Inn above it. The Cardinal of the Lunar Gate kind of stops as a younger elf man approaches, and kind of bows and greets you all. He has a couple of servants kind of trading behind him. He's dressed in kind of very dark blue sort of doublet, with a crimson kind of trim to it, that kind of crimson stitching. He has a hat that's very kind of elaborate, with a large red feather that kind of sticks out to one side. He bows deeply in front of you and says, the pleasure is all mine to meet you, Lady Solreach. And the Cardinal of Lunagate corrects him immediately that she should be referred to as Lady Suncrest. And he goes, oh yes, of course. And you must all be the Gypsies of Fortune. He kind of looks about eagerly towards you all. My name is Resquire Calcia. I will be your guide and information extravaganza. I shall provide you with anything you need. Please, if you require any knowledge, anywhere to go within the Andriont, I shall show you to rooms. Immediately the Cardinal kind of quells Calcia, and he kind of nods. Oh yes, very good. And the Cardinal bids you all a good night. Before I leave, should you wish to return, I'm sure in a few days, there is much to do while you are here. He turns to Celeste. You have a busy day ahead of you tomorrow, and I suggest you get much sleep. There are various people that you will need to meet. There are various people that have requested they meet you, which I would greatly suggest you do not turn down. There's also the dinner tomorrow evening with the Cardinal and the Archbishop himself. And he kind of rambles on about a few other things. Your entourage are welcome to stay with you for this time. And when is an apt time for you to head back to your province? You need only ask Calcia, and he will arrange with me to, as Cardinal of the Lunagate, to take you back through the Grand Embassy. Good night to you all. Blessed night. And she turns and begins leaving, her entourage following. And you are left with Resquire Calcia and his little sort of entourage. Please, I'll take you to your rooms. I didn't quite catch all your names. Apologies. Oh, you must be Lord Suncrest, the uncle.
I am no lord, but Ruthus is my name, yes.
Well, of course, an earl then.
I don't remember anyone telling us we would have a guide. I'd like to insight check him. Like, are we being like babysat? As in, like, is he here to keep an eye on us?
Roll me an insight check.
Mm-hmm.
A 7.
He's pretty honest seeming, but you're just not very good at reading people. And he kind of looks around towards the rest of you, merry band, and he turns to kind of towards Richter as the most kind of normal looking. Richter,
is he a gif at this point?
No, Richter said he's got his human form up constantly.
This banana is the most normal looking thing here.
Richter introduces himself as a paladin of the Dawn's Blade, and
I'm Zook. I suppose if we're doing titles, I'm the Archdruid of Air of the Aeocene Forest. But I'm just these people's friend.
Very exotic, I must say.
I suppose so. Although this is all exotic to me, so. The feeling is mutual.
And,
It's a pleasure, Resquire.
And he kind of nervously looks towards you, Dylan. You're just breathing. Breathing heavily.
Over his shoulder.
You are blessed by Saloon.
I'm Dylan Gray of Xanthar City. Blessed by the wolf and the Moon Mother herself.
Indeed, I've heard tale, but never seen. And you can see there are many people kind of looking towards Dylan in kind of fear, but also there's like a little bit of a reverence there, because Saloon being the patron saint of the moon, and then thusly lycanthropes as well.
This here is my brother, Dutch Gray, also of Xanthar City.
Oh, right. Oh, so you are natives like myself. Which district do you hail?
The wet one.
We're mostly from I believe we grew up in the docks, but our tale spans wide now, and many things have happened since we've left this grand city.
Right. Well, please, let me take you to your suites, and he escorts
He's
you.
frozen.
Who has?
Ooh. No, you're all right for me.
Oh,
Good.
no.
Oh, it's Mike. He escorts you into the ephemeral wing, taking you upstairs. And the first floor of the section of the ephemeral wing is essentially yours. Oh, snap! Is that some tofu?
It's some baked
aubergine?
baked aubergine and tofu with some tomato pasta.
Oh my god, that looks really good. Holy crap. Amelia just walked past and gave me a singular vegan nugget.
You may have this bit of gristle.
I shouldn't have eaten that then.
I'm a growing wolf. I need my proteins.
Mike's gone. That's pushed everything out of whack.
Oh, who am I? Who am I right now?
You're him. And then I'm
Dutch.
I'm completely.
I'm Dutch. I like to punch things.
Hello. my name's Zook, and I'm just a little boy.
I'm a tiny pathetic gnome.
You're Dylan.
I'm embittered about being. Oh, I'm Dylan.
Yeah.
Well,
Look at my muscles. I'm so strong.
I'm gonna give you some of that sweet Xanthar whiskey.
Well, while we wait for Mike, we'll carry on regardless. The first floor suite is yours. There are rooms enough for all of you, with even a couple extra. There is a kind of a large lounge area, which is kind of connected to all of the individual rooms. There is your own private latrine within each of these rooms, seemingly connected to some kind of
not even a chamber pot.
There's no chamber pot in sight.
A fancy poo I'm gonna have.
I want to know if Ruthus has ever seen a latrine before.
I don't know. Have I?
I think in palaces most are like, latrines. Where there's like there's water that runs past and you poop into it and takes it. There's a sewer system. There's no flush, there's no flush, but there is separate latrines. There's a room in which a huge kind of tub, this brass tub, is set up, and Calcia says if anyone wishes to bathe, he can go and get you hot water. Is there? I will leave you now to rest. But if there's anything you need at all, please do not hesitate to ring the bell. And he points towards a small bell in the lounge, and I shall be with you as soon as possible. I'm merely staying across through this door, and you can see there's like a sliding door in the lounge that also leads to the kind of servants' quarters, you guess. Although he does not appear like a servant, he looks like a noble.
Tashi,
Yes.
as Rufus also did, does it look like he's trying to keep an eye on us?
Roll me an insight check, please.
21.
21.
Yeah.
He seems honest and good intentioned. You read from him, he seems just quite in awe, and like this is he doesn't appear like a servant, but
22.
it's almost like an honor for him to be looking after all of you as kind of esteemed guests, and you know, blessed by Saloon and all of the things. There's definitely a kind of to his body posture and things, a sense that he seems a little bit kind of on edge and a little bit worried, like he needs to impress you and get things right, and you know, make sure that you're comfortable. But he doesn't appear to be like he doesn't appear like ill-willed, like he's gonna spy on you, or
No.
There's not like malicious. There's no sort of malice behind it. But equally, he is eagerly kind of with you, and you know, clearly is kind of gonna be really near all the time.
Yeah, we're just going to have to like shake him in a nice way if we want to go get up to the stairs.
Yes, please.
Has he left the room?
He said.
Oh,
he says, if you need anything, and if you require to go anywhere within the Andriont, please let me know, and I shall be your escort. And
yes, thank you.
He moves through the sliding door and leaves, and you are alone in the lounge area with Celeste.
I lean into the others in the group. What do you make of this? I'm not sure I trust all this bum lickery.
I like the way you put that.
I don't. Does he think we're babies? I don't get it. He's treating us like we're young.
I think his intentions are good, Zook.
Right,
He doesn't. He may have an inkling of who we are and what we've done. Whether
I guess
or not
it'll be.
he understands the gravity of that.
I guess it'll be handy
You'll know.
having a source of information, nonetheless.
And if we want to shake him, I'm sure we could easily.
Easily done.
Why would you need to shake him?
Well, I don't know. We don't know what this place is like. We could have imposters, people trying to kill us. Wouldn't be the first time.
No, I guess
I'm sure you've heard of our exploits.
Lest you're a noble, you've known nothing but that. But I speak for at least me and my brother here, probably Zook, but we're used to operating as free agents.
Right. Forgive me, I must retire. I'm exhausted, and she.
One
Celeste?
last thing.
Yes.
Are you sure you're okay?
I know you say you're happy about your child being taken, but I'm sorry for what it's worth. My mother was taken from me when I was quite young. It always leaves a scar, no matter what, no matter how you try to justify it or cover it up. But I suppose if a god wills it, then that's what will happen.
Does she look sad,
Roll me an insight
like deep
check.
down?
Look at all the insights. I appreciate you asking, rather than saying, "I'm going to roll insight." I like you've all done. This is good.
Yeah, and it was the natural one.
Oh no.
No.
Maybe it's like sensory overload, and maybe it's because you're in a new place, but you can't get a read on her.
Mm-hmm.
She nods and sincerely thanks you all for escorting her here. And she says she needs to get rest, as she has clearly a busy day ahead of her. She kind of rolls her eyes a bit. she heads towards her room.
This is Celeste.
Yeah.
Before she goes, I'd like to talk to her quickly. Celeste, if you need us at any time while we're still together in this city, then please seek us and we will aid you.
Well, I'll only be in here next door. Are you going somewhere?
I meant while we're in the city over the next few days.
Oh, right. You have plans of your own, of course. Yes. Well, I am obviously going to be very busy, so you shan't need to accompany me everywhere. I can handle my own.
I know you can. I know you're a strong individual, but just know we're here if needs be.
Thank you, Rufus. She turns, looking exhausted, and goes to her chambers. You're very aware of the fact that she is young. She's like early 20s. She's had a kid, and she's like thrust into this position. You kind of look back to your meeting in Soulreach earlier, or a few weeks ago, when she seemed like such a menacing and I guess like almost not overwhelming. What's the word?
Imposing?
Yeah, imposing, like an imposing figure for such a young person. But that's a black fire for you. So the rest of you are left, the Gypsies, together in this plush lounge area within your suite, within the ephemeral ward, within the Andriont, within the metropolis of Xanthar City, within the Empire.
Ooh.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm starving. And I'm going to walk over and ring the little bell for what's his face.
The wooden door slides to the side, and Resquire Calcia, sort of putting his hat on, steps into the room, his hands behind his back, in a kind of bowing pose.
Esquire?
Yes, Earl Suncrest.
My companions and I are hungry. Please, fetch me a baked potato and whatever the rest require.
Right. Baked potato? I'm sure we can muscle that up.
I'll take some raw vegetables. I feel like a taste of home.
Very well.
About some cold meat selection, Dutch. And
I'm just leaning close to be like, I've heard the nobles can get stuff you can't even find in the darkest alleyway down there. I want that.
My brother would like something from the darkest alleyway.
I'm not sure.
Please, make it so. Okay, thank you. We have much to discuss now.
Wait. Liquor.
Any particular kind? He's like
Strong.
sweating. He gets a little like handkerchief out and wipes his brow.
Strong liquor and good quality.
And he points over to the cabinet. There's liquor within the cabinet.
I just stride over and just like slam open the door and just like look for the most shiniest label and just like pop the cork and just start swigging it.
Yeah, we're ballers now, son.
There's some what looks
Dutch
to be
says
some,
that.
some fine brandies and fine.
Well, I just smash half a bottle and look at him in the eye with my
he gulps and he's like, I'll fetch another. He wipes his brow once more, and scurries off. Maybe 45 minutes go by, and he returns with sourced a baked potato a small kind of crew of people kind of come in pushing like a wooden trolley with kind of fresh pressed linen white sheets on it, and there's that kind of like, you know, domed table service kind of thing. There is a lovely plate with a perfect baked potato, lots of butter. There's even a small butter dish. It looks like they've put a little bit of dill, some cracked salt and pepper across the top. On a side bowl, there's like what looks to be a small kind of salad with some kind of like sliced radishes, some other kind of spicy looking like kind of leafy vegetables. Zook, for you, a platter of indeed raw vegetables. There's even what look to be kind of like some sliced nuts of some kind, perhaps almonds, like some finely sliced almonds across it, some sultanas or raisins, and there's like a kind of a little small pot with kind of an oily yellowy sauce, pursue.
Okay, I look at it in confusion and just dip my pinky in and go,
It's sharp.
I take a bit of carrot, I dip it in, and I crunch it down.
It's like a kind of vinaigrette. It's whatever you think it is. For
I
Zook.
pick it up and I just put it on the side and I take my vegetables to a chair and float down and sit on the side.
They're like they're raw vegetables, but it's you know, it's really bougie raw vegetables. Like there's spiralized bits of courgette. There's like the broccoli, but it's in perfect little florets.
Yeah, they've done work with the slicing.
Yeah.
It's my I've watched so much MasterChef. This is perfect for this sort of.
It's using the mandolin. Yeah.
You open your platter, Dylan, and you find a deliciously smelling selection of cured meats and kind of like dried. There's some kind of dried Parma hams. There's some. There's like a small kind of string wrapped, what look to be like a cured piece of some delicious meat. There's even on the side, in case you are still hungry, there's like a small bowl of what looks to be cold, like cooked turkey or chicken, like just an entire breast but shredded in a bowl.
Is this a big old platter?
Yeah, it's like a large platter. You know, enough for at least a few people.
Dutch, we've done drinking games many times, but I challenge you to an eating game because I'm hungry tonight. I want to see how much of this I can eat before I'm sick.
Let's fucking go.
I pour myself some wine and then just like sit there like looking at them both eagerly.
Dutch's platter comes out and you put it open and on the platter it's essentially a like really high end. This is the modern version, like a high end fine dining, like concept food piece of what you'd find in an alleyway. So it looks like a piece of coal, some Hessian sack, some kind of, you know, almost like sewage water spilt around it. There's a little what looks to be like a crate that's broken open on there, and some bricks on the side. That's what you get. It's very small.
What is it? Who brought me this fucking food?
What the fuck is that?
Resquire
What does it
comes
smell
over
like?
and he explains that the chef has created this conceptual piece. The bricks are small cured pieces of buffalo meat. The crate itself is made out of fine bread wafers with sesame seeds inlaid as the nail. The kind of oil spill that you see here is a deep, rich, meaty gravy stock with red wine and grapes running through it. And of course, the main piece being the Hessian sack across the top is actually a Parmesan crisp, a tuile, if you will.
I mean, yeah, it's good. Do you know what? Yeah, it's really good. Fuck it. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Your chef deserves a pay rise.
He is.
Make it so.
I'm not sure if I can, but please, if there
Make it so.
He kind of bows and backs out of the chamber once more.
You've really outdone yourself. Thank you.
That is a fine-looking baked potato.
Those are some amazing carrots you washed.
The best I've ever seen.
Richter's platter is lifted up, and you can see Richter's having a seafood broth. It's like got mussels, clams, some crab, some prawns. It's like some kind of coconutty broth. He basically described he wanted some kind of like chowder, a rustic chowder from kind of a Varamakian style one, but they've delivered essentially a really bougie fine dining seafood broth. He's loving it.
This is why I always would order a meat platter, because you don't know what sort of fancy crap you're going to get.
So
in hindsight, yeah.
So you revel, you drink, you eat. Are you doing anything else before bed?
Maybe we should have a conversation about what the fuck we're going to do.
I have a plan. Let's all get tattoos.
I don't think you've got any more skin to put a tattoo on, Dutch.
There is one place.
Please no.
I don't want to see that.
It's my back, just under here. Yeah, it'll fit.
Zook, do you have any tattoos?
Zook just looks at you with the big blue stripe across his triangular thing.
Fuck me, that's not a tattoo. I thought you put it on every night.
He just pulls his sleeve up and it's like coiling around his arm. It's like, no, I don't put it on it. When have you ever seen me put it on? It's not paint.
I don't know, you're always up before I am. Actually, no, that's not true.
I'm often up around.
I don't know, I don't see you. I do see you, but I don't know.
Well, maybe
I don't know what you druid
time
folk
together. Dylan, maybe we should spend some more time together. I feel like perhaps we could get to know each other even better than we already do. But yes, this is a tattoo. And no, I'm not getting some crass
I feel like we know each
anchor.
other pretty well. That time when I was in that trench doing my business and you were apparently looking for some mushrooms.
I found those mushrooms. And actually those watering holes and latrine areas create the nutrients for the mushrooms to grow. So thank you.
I wasn't expecting when I looked between my legs to see your tiny little face looking up at me.
I did get a bit close. I'll give you that. But no,
Why are you so curious?
To answer your question, I'm not getting a tattoo here. I get a tattoo in one place and one place only, and that is High Canopy. There's the sacred process, and only when I am ready will I get my next one. But go ahead.
Sacred process. Don't understand.
Sacred process.
It's a ritual of sorts. And I don't want to taint my body with meaningless scribbles. Not that yours are. They have meaning for you, but mine would be different.
I mean, being precious over a body is sort of pointless, considering two of our companions have new bodies.
Aye, and if it wasn't for the power vested in me and the responsibility I have, that which is illustrated through the ancient marks, that would not have happened.
Pretty sure I had something to do with it, but yeah.
Point taken. What are we going to do in this city? Why are we here?
Well, I mean, I have one point of call. But I'm in a good mood tonight, and I don't want to bring us down too much with that, and I'm happy to leave it till the morning or whenever. But we should make the most of being here.
We should spend some money.
We ain't got much money. That's the issue.
Didn't we all just get given like $5,000?
I don't think it was that much.
It was
It was
five.
I think
Like
I've
500.
got
Yeah.
about 700 gold. That's not going to buy. Well, I mean, I know back when we was here in our youth. Well, no, a few years ago. It feels like when we were in our youth, but that wouldn't have that sort of money would have been crazy. But we're in a new place in our life now, and after sort of magical items and that kind of stuff, I don't know.
So you're
Doesn't
saying
seem like much.
renting a boat and turning it into a party boat would be a waste of money?
As much as I think that sounds like a great time, I think we should listen. We should probably not spend too much time here. We should consider that we need to get back to the Varamark at some point soon and deal with that whole fucking shit show and look for more stones, because that's our true calling apparently at this point. But you know, there's definitely some opportunity to be gained when we're here in Xanthar.
Okay.
I don't know. What did we do a lot of when we were here, Dutch?
We stole loads of money, got in loads of trouble.
Did we steal much money? Did we steal much money though? And how good were we at doing that? Not very good.
No.
What could we do now with Zook and Rufus?
And me as well. Richter, me.
How do you feel about taking from the rich, Richter?
Well, why would we take from the rich to begin with?
So we can have it.
Pretty much, yeah.
And what are we using it for?
To get the stones to save the world.
I think it's probably justifiable.
Bring back to Ungmiri and bestow upon its people.
I mean, if they're not going to use it, then...
They have too much. That's the point, right? They got too fucking much.
Have you seen the chair I'm sat on? I've been stabbing a knife into it just to piss them off. I hate how expensive this chair is.
It is ridiculous.
I have to
There's
say,
at least 8 chairs in a room.
most of the folk that live here seem to be glittering like the ocean with the amount of jewelry they wear.
Do you know what? The whole fucking Celeste's baby being taken just makes me hate authority even more. Makes me want to do... I want to leave a small mark before we leave this place. I don't have the best memories of it, and believe me, I can remember it very clearly in this state, and it's not. I don't like it very much, so I want to do something big before we leave.
So be it.
Most people in this city, as Dutch would put it, are cunts.
Most people are.
We've done worse.
And they have too much money, and we should relinquish them of it.
Yeah.
Rufus?
Your dog just appeared in the background for like 2 seconds and then disappeared on the green screen. She just like was there for a sec and then disappeared.
She's wonderful. Come here, Primmy.
It's a giant corgi. Oh God! Everybody hide. Rufus, what do you say? Do you have any qualms about taking coins from people with lots of them?
There's my fucking swampy butt.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
From my experience walking amongst these circles, they do have a lot of coin that they don't know what to do with. And I seem to remember us using up all of our store of platinum when we were in Solreach. We could do with an infusion, if you will.
And the people of Solreach and the people of Ungmiri could do a lot more with that gold in this time of hardship.
They sure could. And as you say, I would also like to leave a mark, if you will. Perhaps our view of the Empire in its own way.
I don't suppose we need to settle the issue of trying to ease up the Empire's quotas for Soul Reach. I mean, that was part of the reason we came.
Fuck, that was true.
Yes.
Maybe we
However,
can.
That is also Celeste's purpose for being here. She knows.
Aye.
She may need your support in this matter, Rufus.
Perhaps she will. Perhaps I'll touch base with her and check in.
If us four do some reconnaissance, or if you wish, Richter potentially could accompany you. You could accompany Celeste tomorrow and help her. And it seems like she's got a lot weighing on her shoulders, aside from everything that happened tonight.
So are you saying you don't want me on the heist?
I most certainly do, Ruth Suncrest. But please, I understand you've got duties to your family, and that means a lot. But we can do some reconnaissance whilst you're absent.
No, indeed. I agree. I will check in with her and remind her of the oath that she swore to me, and see what I can do.
That aside, I should visit my father.
So are we drinking?
Yeah, we're fucking drinking.
Drinking and then sleeping. And on the morrow, our business takes us where it does.
So be it. Right. What do we have in this cabinet then? I'm going to go to the cabinet and sniff out something that maybe has a slightly oaky or natural scent, possibly of pine.
Roll me a perception check.
I will assist you with this, with
I'm
my
finding
lycanthropic sense of smell.
I can imagine tiny little floating gnome and this big like wolf man just heads in a cabinet like.
Oh, such a great scene.
As they start lifting up bottles and
That's
going...
an image, guys. Those of you that are illustrators, that's something I want to see. Okay.
As they're picking up
We want
bottles
that animated.
and like looking at them, I just want to be reaching over, grabbing a bottle in each hand as they go to put them down and just...
Got a 27.
2 random bottles.
There is something that smells woody. It does have that kind of like forest floor pine like vibe to it. You read the label and it says fact, let me just look something up.
A real thing.
A real thing. Well,
It's a potion of shrinking.
a real thing to an extent.
I'm going to drink it.
It's a potion of weakness. It gives you -3 strength. And Zook dies.
The life of Zook was a funny thing.
He went out as we wished.
There's some wines that look to be from some islands that are part of the Empire, but the bottle that you're taking it's a malt whiskey, but it has like a kind of pine needle smell to it. You take a sip, it's strong, but it's like crisp. It's almost quite like pale in color. It's quite light, almost kind of like an light amber. And on the bottle it says whiskey from Shadal.
Okay, Shadal.
Shadal, Shadal.
Nice.
One of you can do a history check if you want.
Sure. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duke has no idea.
Nope.
An 18.
Sure. Yeah, you would have read like books and seen maps of the world.
I've read a
Shadal,
book.
the kingdom of Shadal,
Or 2.
is in southern Eugilius, which is one of the other continents. It's like a desert kingdom. That clearly this has made its way all the way over the ocean from there.
My word, this has travelled. This has seen the world, this bottle.
Now it's going to see my stomach. And I just like whip it. Just like...
Yeah, it's like a pine needle kind of vibe, but the more you drink it, the more Zook picks up on kind of notes of it's more it's less like wet forest, it's more like dusty, dry palm. Like the kind of forest smells you're getting are more likely to be that of like a deserty region.
I've got 15-year-old single malt in my cupboard, Tashi. What are you doing to me? I'm about to crack
I
that
knew
out.
that you were a big whiskey fan, so I was like, I'll describe some stuff. There's some port, there's some variety of wines within there, and you all that are begin partaking until eventually one by one you either go to your rooms and crash for the evening, or perhaps fall asleep in the lounge on the chaise lounge and the other kind of pillowed areas.
Is there an open fire?
There is no open fire. No, not inside.
Well, that's a shame.
And you all to bed. So anyone who partook in a copious amount of alcohol, I'd like you to roll me a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Yes. Uh-oh.
I got a 20.
Nice.
We got an 8.
An 8.
I got
17.
15. Oh.
15 and a 17. Ruthless, you're first to wake. You feel rejuvenated this morning. You can take another exhaustion point off.
Nice.
So I believe you're done with exhaustion. Did you have any exhaustion? I feel like you did.
When you had that downtime, I feel like it would have been gone.
I'm getting confused with our one shot we did. That's why.
Yeah.
Things sink into my brain. So you awake first. You step out into the kind of like lounge area in your undergarments or your bed clothes, and you can see that I imagine the brothers have found their own kind of beds, but Zook is sprawled out on the chaise lounge. The staff
Is he floating?
No, he's down, but he's kind of like drifting almost. The staff of high canopy is like just kind of there, rested against the side.
I feel like I'm wrapped in poison ivy. Oh.
You don't feel good. You can see that the servants have been in and they've cleaned up a lot of the bottles and things. It looks like they've been in while Zook's been asleep. Probably moved him about a bit. You see the doors are open and Dylan and Dutch are in one chamber, both in bed. Dylan is no longer in his lycanthrope form. He's just kind of like sprawled out. All the bed sheets all moved about, and Dutch is like face down, completely butt naked in bed. His tattoos kind of just covering him. They're just in the sheets. Light is sort of cascading through the window.
I'd like to alter self into a giant tomato as I walk around the room, shaking everyone awake and saying in the fool's voice, "It's time to wake up now! Come on! A whole day ahead of us, and princesses to save."
You
I hope that's not I hope you're not taking the piss out of me, Rufus.
You bust open the doors to where Richter was sleeping, but Richter is nowhere to be seen. You see in Richter's room the bag of holding, the bag of withholding, sits on a chair to the side. His armor kind of propped up. He'd taken it off before he slept. All his possessions seemingly are there, save for Richter himself and the Hearthstone halberd.
Richter?
No.
Where are you? Come on, come out. Where you hiding from?
Seriously,
Richter? Richter?
There's no response.
Goes back into the other room. Richter's gone. Everything's
Is it-
here except him and the halberd.
Are his clothes there?
Yes.
Zook, my God, you look terrible.
Oh,
Looking
I
in the
feel
room,
like
Can't you-
a rotten
Zook,
vegetable.
you can see in the bed, you can see there are undergarments, as if they've been placed out where Richter was sleeping.
Does it look like he's planar shifted elsewhere?
No, he's fucking invisible. Look, and I'm gonna start kicking the duvet.
You just move all the clothes where he was. It looks similar to the time that he disappeared in the forest of Ymir. He fell asleep and was whisked off somewhere, leaving behind his shoes, his clothes, where he sat on watch, if you remember. So you have seen this before.
Is
And there's
he?
no sign of a break in or break out or anything like that.
You can roll me an investigation check.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. Oh shit. A 16.
Searching about the room, you find no signs of a break-in. The window is still locked and closed. All his possessions are straight there. You can't imagine someone would have broken in, stolen naked Richter with nothing else other than the halberd.
But I have -3 wisdom, and it's 5.
It's investigation. It's
Oh,
intelligence.
yeah. I investigated if there was a break-in. Couldn't find one. I don't know how they took him. I can't figure it out.
I don't think they
Your
took him
-3
with this.
whiz is showing. Put it away.
I think he's been taken again by the Seeker. This is getting very inconvenient. I wish there was some kind of forewarning so we could know that he would be gone.
Yeah, I
But I
wish
guess-
he could come and play with us in person.
Who knows when he's going to come back? Who knows when? Wait, if he's in the astral plane and he hasn't got the protection of the library anymore, what's going to happen to him?
He's
Is he
gonna
gonna be
die
safe?
again.
Oh,
Suppose
no.
he can fit in as a gift.
Let's hope he can talk his way out of being captured by one of those strange ship people. Fingers crossed. Wherever you are, Richter, we wish you the best. I guess we've just got to wait for him to turn up like last time.
How are you feeling now, Zook?
Like I've been eaten
I
by
just
a hungry
get
bear.
out my hip flask and just put it under his nose.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Come on. It's another 8.
You see he throws up, he catches it in his mouth. You have sick in your mouth currently.
I run to the chamber pot in Richter's room and just dump it in there.
There's no chamber pot.
Oh,
There's no
Use
chamber
the
pot.
I just toss it out of the window.
There's a latrine. But I guess you don't know what that is.
I just put it in a cup on the side.
In Richter's boots.
Yeah. You grab one of the crystal glasses and just kind of spit it into that.
Better out than in, I always say.
I need to
But
get
don't
some
you
fresh
have
air.
some kind of magic that can deal with that kind of thing?
Oh, there's no magic that can deal with this kind of thing. You've just got to ride it out.
Keep
Are you
Sturm and
sure?
ride this one out.
Fine.
Oh. I'll take to the skies in a bit. I think I'll let the wind cleanse me.
So, what's the plan?
Well, you said you had business with your father?
I suppose I do.
Now, be it by all means, I'm happy to let you go and see him alone, but if you wish to have
Damn it.
company...
I wish I'd asked Richter to send him a message before he left us. Do I remember where my father is?
No, You
Fuck.
you never knew that he had a residence in the city.
I would like to find
Resquire.
Resquire, the Resquire Kelsier, and ask him if he knows of Elderwick Grey's residence in the city.
Resquire Calcia enters, and you can see the doors also open, and Celeste, in her kind of like full regalia, she's been given some new clothes, seemingly to match the kind of styles of Xanthar City. You can see she exits her chambers along with a couple of servant girls who have kind of helped her with her corsets and all of those sort of things. And she kind of bids you all a good morning, smiling slightly. Well, it's lucky that I was exhausted, because I hear that you've had quite a rowdy night. And Resquire Calcia kind of nods towards you all. Well, only the finest treatment while here in the ephemeral wing. As you said, Master Grey, yes, Elderwick Grey. He kind of furrows his brow. Oh, yes, the famous bard. Well, I imagine I can look into this for you, although we don't have public records of everyone who lives in the city. You can imagine that would be rather large. But perhaps I could look into it. I imagine that his residence would be in the Bard Ward, which is Ward 5. It's just
I can
outside
make my
the
way
Ambient.
there if it's any inconvenience for you to find out the specifics.
I can certainly ask about this morning. I will accompany you and take you there. If you are leaving the Andriont, it is slightly unsavory in the rest of the inner city. It can be a bit overwhelming.
Please, it'll be nothing we can't deal with, but your assistance finding our way would be greatly appreciated.
Brother,
Please.
I know. Wait, Tashi, have I been to District 5? Not District 5. What's it called?
The 5th ward.
Yeah,
You've probably travelled. I mean, each of the wards are a large area. So the Bardic ward is like the ward full of, you would know, it's full of taverns. It's where the Bards University is. It's where the Bard colleges are. It's just essentially like a big, sprawling tavern, like area. There's just
So we've definitely been there.
yeah. The Bard Ward it's on the other side of the main canal, on the other side, just outside the Andriont. So it borders the like large canal. So it's very central. It's on the western side. It borders Saloons District, and borders the 11th and 9th the 11th and 8th districts too.
Okay.
Which are, well, yeah, you can look at your little key map thing, Dutch, that you have. That's less of an in-game thing. It's more of a your brain thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, and if you want to know at any point, Dutch, what gangs rule certain areas, you can just ask.
Yeah. So what terrifying gang have we got in the Bard College? The fucking mimes.
The parrots.
Holy fuck!
yeah, it's probably
Parrots.
it's like Clockwork. It's Clockwork Orange, isn't it? Like
No,
Clockwork
it's the
Orange
Warriors,
vibe.
bro.
So
Huh?
yeah, the Bard,
The fucking Warriors.
the 5th.
Malevolent
The
minstrels.
5th ward. The 5th ward is the parrot territory.
Parrots.
I can
They sound like
imagine this
cucks.
is how Dutch and Dylan laugh about that gang, not because of the name. Like, we're like, oh, those fucking dickheads with the flutes. Yeah, let's fucking go.
Dutch. if you know the way, I'm happy. Should we go by ourselves?
Yeah. It's family matter, isn't it?
Well, I know that it's a sensitive issue for yourself, as it is for me, but I think you have a right to come, and I would like you to come as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Story Zook, Ruthus. Maybe we could choose a time and a place to reconvene.
Of course, by all means, do what you need to do.
We say when the sun has passed its zenith? Or do you need more time?
How long, Dutch, will it take us to make our way to the 5th Ward?
What? Like 7 hours?
No, not that long.
5 hours?
No.
You said to walk across it, it's a day.
Yeah, but this is the inner city.
Oh, yeah,
walk
shit.
across
So,
the
like-
whole- this is the inner city. It's still big. It's still fucking big. It'd take you an hour, maybe an hour or two.
Oh yeah, it's right there. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I
It's
thought
very
it was-
close. It may maybe take you an hour.
Yeah, let's fucking go then. It's only gonna take us an hour.
Yeah, an hour,
Okay.
an hour and a half. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Xanthar is sprawling.
And then we've got to find it when we're there, so
So midday. That will give. What time is it now?
It's fairly early. I'll say like 9. You maybe had some breakfast. By that time, it's like about 9.
Can
we're
I
just
just...
our hands over food, I take it.
I'm going to draw my hands across and sort of the air ripples as I pull out the weather forecast in an orb. And I would like to know with Druidcraft.
Roll me a d10.
Oh,
Oh, fucking
Okay.
hell. Oh, shit.
Oh, Xanthar is full of random tables. I have made so many random tables.
It's like
Yeah.
it's raining fire.
I've made random
Demons!
I've made random
chocolate
tables.
rain.
I've made random tables for each district.
It's raining those fish in the Amazon that swim up your dick.
Oh no,
God.
that's a myth. It was a 9, actually,
It was a 9 on a d10, yeah.
on the D10.
Okay. Oh, it's you pull the orb and it's like sheer blue, and it's hot in your hands.
I wouldn't wear those jackets. Maybe pack light. It's going to be a warm day.
Yeah, you look out the window and you can see there's people within the Andrian walking around with like big paper parasols. They're like big umbrellas, but they're just the paper kind of ones. Lords and ladies walking about with those.
Wait,
There's lots of
which
fans.
gang is the parrots again? What gang is the parrots?
What do you mean? What gang?
Like,
What do they do?
Oh,
Yeah.
like who? Like what they like?
what are their rankings? What's their what's their vibe?
Roll me a history knowledge check.
History knowledge. That's int. Yeah, so this is a flat roll.
Does he
Oh,
not get
it's a
advantage
4.
for being...
Well, there's a lot of districts and a lot of different gangs.
Okay.
And
Does it
Yeah,
trigger any
mixed up.
memories for Brother Draug?
not the parrots, no. What did you get, Dutch?
4.
A 4. All you can remember is you haven't really ever had much interactions with them, because in general you tend to stick to the docks. Like traveling around the city in other people's territory is a bit
Dangerous.
It's a bit dangerous if you're part of the criminal gangs.
Yeah.
Which we're technically not anymore, I guess.
You don't know. They're all you know is they're annoying, they're flamboyant, they're pretty extravagant. They're not like stealthy hide in the shadow types.
They're like they're like a gang of Eton boys
Well,
running around
they're not
paying
posh.
for dinners and fucking pigs.
They're not posh.
Eating mess.
So I have a very, I know what they're like in my head.
They're a little bit like anime. The anime baddies where they've all got really weird looks and they're like, hey, what are you doing in my? Anyway, you'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't ruin it for us, DM. You.
It's my fault. My probing questions.
That's fine. That's kind of what you vaguely remember, but they're not one of the. They're not one of the like,
big players.
They're not one of the big players. They're definitely like up there ish because they're, the 5th ward is the only ward. Like it's 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all in the Andrion. The 5th ward is the only one not. So it's the next one. The 6th ward is Saloon's ward. So the bards they see themselves as above the like priest area. They're better than them. Regardless, that's what you know. Oh yeah, I was going to move the thing to this. Aha, some more stuff for you to look at.
Ooh. Grand.
Fire.
Birds.
It's the Blue Mosque.
So you can sort of get a vibe for like the Andrion and the big bridges, like it's its own raised kind of area. And there's these
that
big
boat
like
picture is sick.
Yeah, so there's
I love it.
So the domed roofs like that, it's almost a bit like Saloon, the big temple of Saloon, and there's all these big canals kind of cutting through Xanthar city. That's more like the down by the docks, but yeah, none of them are of specific places, but they're like I think they give a really good feel because it's kind of hard to imagine the scope of a lot of this. So what are you doing?
We're going Dutch, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to see his father.
Cool. So you're going to head off with Resquire Calcia.
I think, are we going to go on our own, Dutch, without Resquire?
Yeah, we're going to go about it.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to ask my brother if he could help me just look a little bit less like me, maybe.
Sure. I will spend some time before we leave disguising Dutch, and I'll use disguise self as a spell on myself. So we can sort of pass more unnoticed.
Okay, what are you going to look like?
Myself, I will look like...
That's a great answer.
I was thinking.
I will look like the human variant that I normally go for.
Yep.
So sort of like slightly Varamarkian looking, I suppose.
And how are you dressing Dutch?
I don't know. I think I'll like to try and make him. I won't try and change his actual appearance too much, but I'll try and make him look more like. I'll try and make him look more noble, more fancy. We'll just sort of change his clothes. Presume we could acquire some different clothes for him quite easily, and like upon request.
With a small amount of time, Resquire Calcia could get him a doublet that would fit. And
I'm just like, Dutch, we're gonna have. I know you think they look fancy, but all that jewelry is really all the jewelry is just really garish. And I'm just, you think it looks? Dutch thinks it looks like incredible. He thinks looks like the proper like. He looks like the real deal, but I've got to say to him like, Dutch, please, it's not. It doesn't come across how you think it does.
So if you want to wear the doublet, you'll have to take your leather off.
Why?
Because it won't fit. They won't fit.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, go on then.
Okay. So you take your armor off. You taking it with you, or are you leaving it in the?
Oh
where
shit!
You're staying?
Oh.
Take the bag of withholding.
Yeah.
Yep. You take the bag of withholding, pop it in there, and begin to leave. Resquire Calcia and says, I insist. If not me go with you, then perhaps someone else. You are esteemed guests, and we could not have you simply disappearing into the city.
What are his intentions behind this?
Yeah,
Roll me an insight check.
Yeah, sure.
Is this to watch us or protect us, you know?
Okay. Natural 20.
Natural 20.
Yeah, plus 6. Plus 6.
There's a mixture of both. There's still no malician, but definitely there's a vibe of like
malice.
There's definitely a vibe that he needs to kind of know where you are.
Okay.
As guests potentially, but as like.
Yeah.
He seems to be nervous by the fact that you're leaving the Andrion, which is a huge area. And going into the city, although he kind of knows that you two are from here anyway, you get a sense also with a natural 20, he's really holding back a sort of a subtle disgust for Dutch.
Oh really? Oh fuck. Okay.
He's doing an immaculate job though. Of being professional.
Yeah. He's put his foot in it
but
now,
there's
though.
a full slight undertone of like he's a half-orc because that's just a thing in Xanthar City. And it's not just him, it's most people.
Sure. I'd like to try and persuade him not to... Well, no, fine. He can send...
I'd like to persuade him to not be a racist.
Yeah, no, he can bring someone with us if he wants, and if they can keep an eye on us. Unlikely.
He kind of thanks you profusely. Yes, please allow me to fetch someone.
We leave immediately at that point.
Okay, sure. In which case, both roll me stealth checks, not to like creep it out, but to essentially avoid him.
Okay.
Or avoid whatever else is happening.
Sure.
Oh, that's not bad, yo.
It's not the best, but it's still going to be good.
I got a 25.
25.
Whoa, the Grey brothers are back in town. Okay, both at that
Sneaky
point,
montage.
As the Resquire leaves, Dylan and Dutch look at each other, and Zook and Rufus, you just see them both kind of look at each other and then dart out. And they're gone. You look out the window and you see them weaving between people, looking over their shoulders, heading towards the bridge on the other side, sort of towards the Senate.
Boys.
Did you agree a time when you were going to meet? So I should say that.
We mentioned
probably need like
Zenith.
4 hours, really. I'd say.
Yeah.
So shortly after,
Yeah.
Between midday and 1.
Early afternoon.
Yeah.
Rufus and Zook, what are you up to? Celeste asks.
Well, to be honest, you know what piqued my interest? The floating church in the sky. I'm going to check that out. Because they have no right to be floating around up here in my domain. So I want to know what's going on. There. I don't know, that thing made of rock that looks like a building.
Oh, you mean the
like it's a university. Zook doesn't really know.
You might like it there, actually, Zook. It's a fountain of magical knowledge.
Do you still have those spectacles?
I do, yes.
Do you mind if I borrow them?
No, not at all. Please, be my guest. You need to attune to them, though, for an hour. As I fuzz them
Do
out.
you?
Yeah.
Actually, don't worry. That's fine.
Okay. I also respond to Celeste and say, Celeste, remember we spoke of in one of our initial meetings of finding a better path for the people of Soulreach. Is this something that you're going to be undertaking while you're here?
Well, I had hoped that you would perhaps accompany me in that endeavor. Today, and she kind of looks towards her servant with this like list. Well, today I seem to be. She kind of lists off a few things. I'm meeting with these nobles, and then I have lunch with this man, and then it's all rather much. There's
any time is fine for me while we're here. Just let me know when.
She asks one of the servants kind of when she'll have a free kind of moment, and it seems that today, for the majority of today, she's busy. But tomorrow, there's some larger gaps in her timetable in which you could both potentially organise some kind of meeting with someone, but you'd have to I guess you'd have to look into that. But today, it seems that there's no wiggle room in her current timetable.
Tomorrow, then. Let's pencil it in.
She nods towards you. Well, I better start mingling on behalf of Solreach. I'm sure today's work will put us in good stead. It'll put us on the map, at least, in terms of being aware of the Empire, being aware of the smaller provinces and the edge. There are many
Indeed.
tales, many things.
And if I say so myself, from the looks of the people at the ritual yesterday, there were many in awe of you, Celeste. That's a powerful tool that you could use in your diplomacy.
She kind of has a slight wry grin and nods towards you. I have my ways, and you have a. She kind of waves her hand slightly, pointing to one of the one of the servants, and she just sort of says, "Leave us for a moment." And there's a slight kind of flash in her eyes. And the servant immediately looks towards her and says, "Of course," and begins to immediately walk out. And she kind of turns back to you and says, I have a few tricks up my sleeve, as you well know, Rufus.
You have things under control, as per usual.
This corset is extremely tight. I prefer our smaller province fashion. Anyway, what are you going to get up to today?
Perhaps peruse the town, see the Mages University. Perhaps we can learn of some things that we need to learn of.
Well, good luck.
Oh, before you go, may I ask, what does it mean that the old man touched my head?
I'm not sure. I think it's good luck. I heard the servants whispering about how it's extremely rare. He's not often even seen, let alone to physically touch another.
I see.
It can only be a good thing.
Yes. Perhaps I can charge onlookers to look at it.
To look at your scalp.
Yes.
Well, good luck, Uncle, in that endeavour. I shall see you this evening, potentially before dinner. I have this dinner, which you are welcome to attend. It's with the archbishops, and I believe
Or high
the cardinal.
elves.
Yes, I some of the most powerful of men in the Empire.
Lovely as that sounds, I think I'll pass. It's not my scene anymore.
It could be an opportunity for us to broach the topic of our town. Perhaps over a dinner is often a good time for those minor talks. But equally, we could wait until the morrow and get an audience with someone who perhaps ask the cardinal.
Yes, well, that's true, I suppose. Well, if you think it's a good idea, then I'll join you. As long as my friend Zook here can come too.
I'm sure. I'll ask.
As she turns to leave, I'm going to turn to Rufus and just say, "Wait, you can talk to the most powerful people in the city, in the Empire. People that have an affinity with these gods, these creatures of the skies. Don't you think there is an opportunity there to broker some assistance, possibly with our problem in the Varamark? I mean, we're talking about devils. From what Dylan's spoken about, they've got to be the the bane of whatever that thing was that flew down. They can't like each other. Maybe we can gain some powerful allies here.
Oh, Zook, they're very hard to deal with, though. They're very boring.
Well,
Rufus says, sort of like, because for this kind of situation is very normal for him. He's done a lot of this in the past, like chatting to normal people, like high up, powerful people. And it's the point where it feels trivial.
Rufus, we have dived into the Shadowfell. We have gone against dragons. We have fought off devils. And you're worried about a boring banquet.
I'm not worried about it, Zook. It's just...
What would the king say?
It's not my calling.
If we have this quest to delve into the depths of wherever these devils come from and fight off the evil that plagues us in the north, is surely you can endure a banquet if it helps. I'll be there to entertain you. We can play some pranks on them if it helps get you through.
I suppose you're right.
That's something you need to learn about being a forest gnome. We have a natural affinity for fucking with people in a friendly way.
I suppose you're right. Seems I can't escape my diplomatic lifestyle quite yet.
But anyway, in the meantime, I think we should check out this library.
So,
Indeed.
I should have asked Rufus, but did you want to change the day when you slept? It could risk you getting a lot of exhaustion, but I guess that's the risk. But then again, if you feel like you're going to need your wits about you for the next few days and you're exhausted, it's also not going to be very good.
Yeah, I have to make a new character sheet right now as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, no.
I think,
that's too much work.
For the next session, probably not Monday's session, but for a session where you think you're going to change it, you should make a character sheet for just all of the others, because the Echo Knight's also pretty complicated, but the others are really not very complicated. There's some that are like more complex than others. The Battlemaster, Rune Knight, and Echo Knight are probably the most complicated. The rest really aren't.
Yeah. Okay.
So, with Zook and Rufus, accompanied by Resquire.
Well, hang
Kelsier,
on.
Unless you, he says to you, I sincerely encourage you to let me accompany you. Without a guide around the Andriont, you could be mistaken as trespassers quite easily.
Okay, well, will we be allowed into this flying building? Is my question.
To the Primental Ajuia?
That, yes.
I could, perhaps if I accompany you, I can ask. I can certainly try.
Maybe you're best go on foot then. How long does it take to get there?
Oh, merely 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take the stiff. Hey, Rufus.
Sounds good.
All right. So,
all right, lead on.
With you three heading across the Andriont and the Great Winds heading out towards the fifth ward, the Bardic ward, we shall have a short break.
Hey.
Woo!
Hey. Time for a nice cup of tea.
Indeed. Okay, well, I'll just unmute the stream for a bit. We'll be back very shortly. In fact, let's see who's watching at the moment. Let's have a look, shall we?
No one.
No one. It's no one. We lost all our subscribers when we didn't stream that week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, they all blocked us and sent us hate mail.
Commander Root is here.
Oh, Commander Root is there.
Who's Commander Root?
Yeah, Commander Root's
Your
been
boy.
showing up every week.
Ah.
Who is?
Root's
Com-
again.
I don't know. It just popped up for me like a load of
oh yeah, there's some
like.
more.
There's 5. I
There's-
just got 5 people join. Like I think maybe it just doesn't show it up always.
Yeah,
Like if you-
I don't think it shows up for me. a lot
Hello,
of the time.
5 people. That are
3 of
following.
them are us, though, and also Tashi's on there.
We appreciate your
watching?
presence.
There's Dutch, there's you, there's me, and there's.
And Theo.
But so who's Commander Root?
Commander Root, explain yourself. Why have you come?
Reveal yourself.
I see,
How dare you
I see
watch our
Commander
private
Root
stream on the
every week,
internet.
though. Commander Root's always here.
I thought it was Hugh or someone.
I don't think it is. I don't know if it's anyone we know. There's Commander Root, and there's who was the other one that's always there that we don't know either. There's 2 people that are often there that we don't actually know, or
There's
maybe
that
we
kid
do
in
know
his
and they
pub.
don't say.
There's that kid and his son from last stream.
They've had to talk about bad words.
They have.
Oh, and his son's a DM. That's pretty cool. I thouh.
That is
Oh,
And
okay.
it's okay when orcs swear because it's part of their culture, is what he told his son.
What a legend!
So
What a
obviously,
legend.
yeah, that's how you raise your kid. Naughty words exist, but they have to be in context.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute the stream and go for a wee.
Monday again. We could do it when we come back as well. Just for anyone, just in case they are listening, like about our.
Oh yeah,
Monday.
I'll do
Oh,
it
yeah,
now.
anyone who's just joined.
Yeah.
You hear
I'll
that,
do it
Commander
now
Root?
and I'll do it when we get back. So on Monday, the 31st, so in 4 days' time, we're going to do a stream in the flesh at my house for the entire day. So we're going to start early. We're going to finish maybe 5 around there.
Yeah, quite nice.
It's gonna be like 2 sessions, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
2
it's gonna be
sessions,
like
but in
2
a single day.
2 sessions.
An
Effectively.
omnibus or whatever it is.
An omnibus.
An omnibus.
It's not an omnibus. but-
Omnibus.
Yeah. Also, me and Tashi are working hard to get all the previous episodes which weren't being streamed to YouTube up on the YouTube channel as videos. So I expect we'll have them up in the next couple of weeks. I've got
How many are up at the moment?
I haven't put them up yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, once I've done them all, and then I'm going to number them all so we know they're in chronological order, and then I'm going to release them.
And we've got two in the pipelines that are sitting there. Or we got 3.
I've got 3 I think I've done 3.
Double check.
I forget.
I need to upload the next ones into the G drive. I'll do that. You know
Yes,
what? I
if
need
you
to
could,
do
and
that. Because G drive has a. I'm going to cut us from the stream. Hang on, we'll chat this.
Good day.
Back. Just waiting for everyone to come back
Hello
from
there.
break. Sounds like a teacher.
And then we gon' fuck shit up.
Xanthar
We
City, what fun.
Tear up the city.
I love how much
Zook's
of a different vibe this whole is to like the rest of the campaign's been for like years.
Yeah. It's been small town, like frosty sort of heath fields and little towns with not a lot in, a little tavern, a little problem to solve here and there. Now we're in a fucking metropolis.
Yeah, literally last week you were going to some like tiny little settler village by the air scene to fight off some woods.
Save the alderman there.
Yeah, the spiritual guide to the small village.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like it's a rogue's playground, really. Any kind of vagabond. It's cool. Opportunities will arise. There's just so much. Like I always feel like a city is just a very like abundant world to explore.
It's its own place, like its own destination. Like,
Yeah.
Like you're entering the air scene, now you're entering Xanthar City. It's like this is the wilderness. The wilderness of cobblestone streets and shining merchants.
No, it's okay. Well,
Dodgy looks and hooded figures tailing you.
Fountain squares and feathered hats.
Yeah, it's exciting. Zook has no fucking idea how to handle it.
I love it. I feel like
I can't believe we had Snoop Dogg watching our fucking stream. It's amazing.
Get a what?
We had Snoop Dogg watching the stream.
for some reason OBS shifted my my Chrome to the other Chrome, which is like the Chrome I don't want on stream. And it happened to be a little bit of my Facebook where Mike had posted a GIF of Snoop Dogg.
Big up Snoop.
I don't know, but it was fucking glorious.
Yeah, could have been bad.
Hey, sorry guys.
Right.
Here's one of my selections.
So I need, as we come back, we find ourselves the party split, doing multiple things for the day. We have the Grey twins heading off to locate their Dylan's father, potentially in the Bardic ward, and Zook and Ruthus staying in the Andriant, heading towards the Mages University, the Primental Aguara, as it was referred to as. So we will go with the Grey twins first. As you begin to weave your way through the crowds of people, I would like one of you to roll me a D10, please.
4?
This is your Andriant encounter.
You got one to hand, Mike, or
Yeah,
do you want me
one.
to do it? Okay.
I got a 10.
A 10.
Ooh.
It's either the best or the worst. Let's fucking go.
As you're kind of traveling, making your way across the kind of various open courtyards and gardens of the Andriant, you see a there's sort of like a kind of main thoroughfare, and heading directly towards you, you see a young woman, maybe a 13-year-old, 13-year-old, flanked by what look to be a couple of huge bodyguards. They're like armored. They've got feathers up to saloon. She's wearing like a black hemmed kind of court dress. She looks menacing for such a young girl. she's not paying you mind, but she's headed straight down the promenade that you're on. You'd have to essentially choose whether to move out of the way or not of her coming through.
Yes, I
You should,
suppose out the way.
you should punch her.
I'll pick this child right in the guts.
You step to the side.
I'll
Is that
move
what you're doing?
aside, yeah.
You
I'm
both-
not fucking dumb. Yeah.
You both step to the side, and she pays you no mind at all. But the guard on the right, eyes you both with a sort of incredulous look. Especially you, Dutch. A half orc in the Adriant that isn't a servant is rare, definitely. They eye you, but they continue past on their way.
Okay.
Yeah, fucking thought.
You continue making your way through the Andriant, and eventually you make your way to the western bridge that would lead across towards the 5th Ward. As you approach, you can see, as is with all of the bridges leading out of the Andriant, there's like a checkpoint where people are coming and going, but there are plenty guards in this area. How are you approaching?
Are they like guarding any entrances or
What are
exits?
they doing?
They're not blocking. There's like a huge archway that leads out across the like massive bridge. They're mainly checking people upon entry. You can see there's a couple of beggars on the bridge on the other side, and one of them is shoving one of them away. And they're like, how'd you even get on the bridge? Shouldn't be allowed over the other side. Come on, scum. And one of them kind of moves towards them and begins dragging them back across the bridge, the long walk, all the way.
Have we been given any documentation or anything like that to indicate we've come from?
Nope. You've been given a guide.
I see.
Oh yeah, fucked it.
I'd like to approach one of a guard that looks like a sort of a more amiable looking guard, if that's possible. I don't know.
Roll me an insight check to
Sure,
locate
yeah,
more
yeah, let's do it.
amiable
Let's do
guard.
it.
Sure.
A 16.
16. Yeah, upon approaching the kind of gate, you can see there's a couple of guards that are playing some dice, sort of to the side. There looks to be an area where there's like they've got their own sort of courtyard.
Yeah.
And there looks to be a guard on break, smoking a pipe, leaning against a tree. He looks like he's
Okay.
amenable to an extent.
So I'll approach this. I'll just quickly say to Dutch, Dutch, I'm going to come up with a backstory on the fly here, and I apologize for referring to you as my manservant, but it might be appropriate given our situation. And I'll approach this gentleman.
As you approach, he sort of gets his pipe up.
I apologize for interrupting you, my good sir, on what is clearly your break.
Oh, it's no trouble at all. What can I do for you, young lord?
Me and my manservant here are leaving the Adriant. Unfortunately, we do not have any paperwork if we are to return here, and I know it is heavily guarded here, and rightfully so. But I do not wish any trouble if we are to return to our lodgings. I do not know who I could inform that we will be returning in a couple of hours or so. But I am concerned that it might be difficult for us to cross back into the Adriant. And I'll sort of like I'll whilst I'm doing this, I'll just sort of like place a friendly hand, just like briefly on his shoulder, and I'll cast friends on him.
He sort of looks at your hand. And he kind of looks towards Dutch. Roll me a deception check.
Okay. Not terrible.
You are dressed in the doublet, so
15.
you know what? I'll give you advantage
I did cast friends on him, so.
Oh, you already cast friends, of course. 15.
So 15.
Oh, what did you say your name was?
My name is Draug.
Just Draug?
Brother Draug. I'm a part of a. I'm a member of a church, but from a ways off. I'm visiting on behalf of my order.
Kind of sighs. Hold on here for just a second, and he walks off. 5 minutes or so pass, and he comes out with what looks to be a small scroll tied with a dark blue ribbon. He hands it over to you. Should be necessary paperwork for the day. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, and I'll palm him off a gold coin as a thank you.
He almost looked to be expecting it as he takes it.
Okay.
Pockets that and gets back to his pipe.
Okay.
Well done. You head across the large bridge, and from the bridge you can see across the expanse of Xanthar. The bridge obviously kind of arcs and descends somewhat, and there is a fair height down to the canal below on the Adriant side. You can see ahead, sprawling across properly this time, the city of Xanthar. As you begin making your way across the bridge, to your left, to the south, you can see the sea. You can see what look to be the cranes and the various chimneys and kind of construction of the docks far down. You can still see the Gilded Way, the huge thoroughfare road that goes straight from the Adriant down towards the dock front on the southern side of the Adriant. But you continue heading towards the Bard Ward, the fifth ward. You can see ahead of you, there's the Bard Ward is kind of essentially made up of many multi-story taverns. There's lots of smoke kind of going off, and after the 10 or so 15 minutes of walking across this massive bridge, you can hear the kind of rabble-rousing drunkard noise of song and shouting. It's a bit like a bit of a kind of party district to an extent, but there in the center, kind of towering above most of the houses, you can see some spires, a variety of different spires of different coloured glass, which mark the bardic colleges. Dylan, you this time, can you roll me a D10 as well, please, as you make your way into the Bard district?
An 8.
An 8. As you sort of delve in, just to your right, in sort of a square, you can see a group of young artists are performing outside of a tavern. They're kind of all collectively round outside. One with a drum, one with a little lyre, one kind of belting out to everyone. They're singing a merry tune, and there's sort of crowd of people that are watching on. You can see as the lead singer, who looks to be a half elf, dressed in a kind of slightly worn-looking doublet, stands up on one of the barrels, leaps up onto it, flourishing what looks to be a wand, sparking it off into the air as kind of dancing lights begin to kind of move around above him as he lets out sort of a final flourish to the song. People begin to clap. How are you locating your father's residence?
Gotta be some barges.
Is there? Yeah, probably is. Is there like a college that's obvious?
The
that's
colleges
nearby?
are in the kind of heart of the ward, so they're still a bit of a ways off. You'd have to delve right into the centre. But there's plenty of taverns all around. You're currently standing in like a square, and basically on every corner is a different tavern.
Right. Dutch, we're probably going to have to get ourselves a drink and see what information we can find.
You can see.
I mean, can't we
You can see
Can we just
the Mean
ask-
Nut Pub. You can see the Elite Sword, the Reflecting Toad. There's just all manner of different taverns.
Not sure how much a guard will be willing to give us that kind of information. I know we look less like ruffians than we normally do, but
I mean, you are
man,
his son.
asking it. They don't know that.
Yeah, that's true. All right then, let's go in a pub.
Hopefully it won't take too long.
No, nothing bad's ever happened in a pub.
What pub are you heading to?
Anyway, hair of the dog, I think.
Definitely needed.
In the current square, there's a few. They all look to be equally as reputable as the others.
What are they called?
There's one called the Reflecting Toad, one called the Mean Nut Pub, and one called the Elite Sword.
The Elite Sword.
That sounds like somewhere that Elderwick Grey might frequent.
Exactly.
You,
we go.
You make your way towards the Elite Sword, which is the pub that the kind of kids were performing outside of. You squeeze through the crowd and enter the tap room. It's like any classic sort of tavern tap room that you've seen before, except coating the walls and the ceiling are just all manner of different old swords. They all look pretty dull and broken, but there's the occasional one with sort of like a glinting hilt, or one that looks to be I don't know, maybe of a different kind of steel. But they're all kind of just like welded amongst themselves to the roof and to the walls. It's fairly busy inside. There's a few people kind of mingling and drinking, but the majority of people seem to be outside watching the kind of song that's happening.
What's your poison today,
Right.
Dutch?
Something soft, so I'll have a rum.
Rum. I quite enjoy a vegetable juice with a liquor the night after heavy drinking. Something we did at the church frequently. I don't know, is that something we did in Xanthar? I
No,
can't
we just
remember.
drank more rum. Let's try
I
this.
remember a rum you were telling me of. I've been keen to try it ever since. I've had fleeting memories of it. Death's Head rum, is that what it was called?
Death's Head rum. And we are in the best place to get it. So let's start the day proper.
Fine. I'll follow your lead then.
I'll go up to the bar.
You can see behind the bar is a human man, clean shaven and bald. He has thick, bushy, dark black eyebrows, and he kind of looks towards you. Hey, welcome to the Elite Sword. What's your poison?
I'd like to order 2 drinks. One for my lord and one he has kindly gifted to me. Could I please have 2 of your Death Head rums?
Right.
I'll
That sort of day is it?
I also need to ask a question of you. He cannot talk, you see, for he's saving his voice for the stage. He would like to pay respects to Elderwick Grey before he performs tonight.
Roll me a deception check.
I'll sort of I'll start looking around, sort of like
Oh, it's not bad.
pompously, and
Those goddamn brothers.
It's a 21.
woo!
Ooh, that's all right.
Eldwick Grey, you said.
It's 22. It's 22.
Well, I didn't know he was performing of late.
I think he meant that I was performing. I think
He
that,
was performing, yeah.
Yeah, so-
I see. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah. Performing a song, is he? A jig?
A song the likes of which you have never heard.
Well, I'll get you your rums. And he turns around, pours a couple shots of rum, slides them across.
I'd like to overpay him for the rum now.
Very well done, because... Ah, yes. Well, I seem to remember now, as he takes up the extra few coins. How much do you pay?
So how much are they each?
He hadn't said.
Then I've handed him 5 gold.
He takes the 5 gold. Oh, yes. No, I remember where he lives. Towards the southern side of the ward, the area of the sort of elite mansions, there's a gated mansion, and he kind of like essentially explains the directions.
What? Because I've never been. I can't get lost in Xanthar. Could I insight check him, see if his directions are on point to where he's saying to go?
You definitely can, yeah. Yeah, you won't miss it. The front courtyard, there's a big statue of him.
Oh no, I only got a 12.
He's you've given him the gold, and that seems to be what it took to get what you answer. I mean, you know Xanthar. If you want anything, you got to pay.
Do I think he's being truthful or not?
Roll me an insight.
That's a 24.
Yeah, he does. He's a tavern owner. I've paid him.
I give Dutch a knowing nod, and we toast.
Yeah. A toast to the barman, and we shot the rum.
Well, why not? And he pours himself one. Yeah. What'd you say your name was?
And then we're gonna leave.
Very well. He goes back to cleaning the bits. So you begin making your way in the directions that he said. I'd like you to roll me another D10, either of you.
You do it.
Dutch, it's your turn. It's your turn.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, I got a 5. Middle for diddle.
5.
Mm-hmm.
You walk through the streets and you hear an older bard with a lute strumming, kind of picking quite melodically. It looks to be a song, a kind of sadder song, and you hear as you're kind of walking past the lyrics. The song is clearly something, or the song is called "The Blue Baby." And it's clearly a song referring to the night before, a fresh new tale. Perhaps this man managed to sneak in and see, because the kind of descriptions are fairly accurate of this thing descending and taking the babe, the blue baby. You continue along your way.
I would like to keep an eye out for anyone tailing us. Or
sure, roll me a perception check.
Okay. I suppose I'll put Ook on my shoulder for this.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll just sort of get close to Dutch, so I'm not like, if I'm walking.
I imagine
it's not unusual for an owl to be on
I'll
someone.
put my brother's lead on.
No, not for
like,
an owl on someone's shoulder is nothing in Xanthar. It's normal.
Yeah.
Especially not in the fucking parrot district.
I imagine with your disguised self, when you're like addressing someone and talking to them, your eyes aren't actually quite looking at them because it's like a disguise.
It's like,
yeah. So
I'm like looking. Imagine I'm looking at you right now.
At you, and you do this. Yeah. That sounds good. Sounds good. That's right at you, but it's like this.
Just looking over their shoulder a bit.
What did you get?
I got a 23.
As you are like stepping sort of away from this bard that's singing this song, Ook swivels his head round and looks kind of back behind, and you can see maybe 3 or 4 or 5 brightly coloured birds sitting on one of the kind of like washing lines.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there, kind of grooming themselves, but they seem to be looking at you. They seem to be watching you.
Okay.
A bird understands another bird and reads.
Oh wow. Okay. I'll relay this to Dutch, and I'll say, like, can we maybe take some sort of back streets to kind of go an alternate route to sort of shake this prying eye.
Sure.
Also, could we just, if there's any little, little shops where it's like just basically a room with a door and a door. There's any of those? Can we just like cut through shops? So like even just like hop the counter and just run out the back door or something maybe.
What I'll do is I'll say roll me both stealth checks.
Okay.
So it's less about like just trying to hide. Stealth is also you're kind of trying to lose
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Oh dear.
What did you get? Not good.
No.
Can't be too bad, can it?
An 11?
An 11.
Ooh. A 26.
26.
Yeah.
That's the roll we're looking for.
Following Dylan's lead, you do make your way through a couple of taverns. You go out the back, you pass the latrines, then the outhouses. You hop a couple of fences between beer gardens, and you kind of look back and you kind of make your way back on track. And as you're heading towards one of the kind of main thoroughfares, the end of the alleyway you're in, you see a couple of figures silhouetted against the end.
Nice.
The silhouette themselves seems to be seems like they're wearing big headdresses, almost like there are plenty of kind of plumage and feathers from them. You look back, and the alley, the other side, you see another figure kind of just leaning up against the side, prop himself up and pull his sleeves up and begin kind of walking in your direction.
Okay, cool.
You are you going either way, or are you stopping where you are?
Should we? Let's have a discussion with these fine gentlemen or
I'm
lady
gonna
folk Dutch.
start putting my big rings back on. The big, chunky, so not classy rings with some of them are gemstones, some of them are glass. You begin
putting them on, and unfortunately, the one who looks like himself was the one that was spotted. So, stepping into a kind of shaft of light that's spilling into the alleyway, you see a rather dashing gentleman in a fine kind of multicolored doublet of like sort of different patchwork, a kind of one of those Jacobean ruff style, but it's like what's the
Cravat?
Yeah, it's like a cravat, like Austin Powers wears.
Big
It's got
lacy
like loads of lacy bits.
like Georgian era.
There's feathers sort of in the slicked back hair that kind of poke back like this of a variety of colours, and as they kind of smile, light catches what looks to be a set of gold teeth.
Amazing.
Flashy.
He's got grills.
Raises one eyebrow as he kind of like spins a dagger in one hand. Well, somebody mentioned that a grey was back in town.
I don't know who you'd be referring to.
Oh, come now. Dutch, is it not? I don't think we've had the pleasure of meeting before.
We obviously have not, because I don't know who the fuck you are.
Come now. Can we not be civil? I mean, you're in my home after all.
I was here first. It's mine.
The name's Sequeria. And, your friend?
The name's Brother Draug.
He's my manservant.
Of course he is. There's plenty of people after you, you know. A pretty penny upon your head to some. I hear that Eldamer's paying a huge ransom for you, Harfolk.
How much?
You want to know things. Well, I've got the information. Question is, what can you do for me?
I could not open your skull and use your grey matter to paint the wall behind you. That could be a start.
So threats it is. Well, that's a shame. I was looking to maybe do a bit of business. You can hear some like parrots that are sitting up in the various rafters. Business, business, business. Like kind of repeat things that they're saying.
Oh, look.
And what sort of business would you have Dutch do for you?
I don't know. There's a few things.
What if
Depends
we
how
said
much
we
information
didn't
you
have the
need.
time? Dutch, how much information do you need?
All I'm going to say is Eldama's purse, I left it significantly lighter when I left.
Go on, we all thank you for that, of course.
Depends how much money you want to just let me go through that door.
Information for information.
Okay.
All I'd like to know is, why'd you do it? And why you back?
Why I did it is because I wanted something different. And why I'm back is I need an answer for a question.
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh. Persuasion, just +1. 18.
18.
No, the natural 17. Remember, Dutch is likable. He's a charming cunt. Wee, you fucking boy.
Well, I ain't handing you over to Eldama. Fuck that. But you should know few things. She hasn't forgotten. Plus, if we know you're here, chances are she definitely knows you're here. So watch yourself. Also, go see your boss. We've done some good deals recently. Part of the dock rats. You're always going to be part of the dock rats. But then again, there's a bit of a bounty on your head from her too. You might have to pay that off.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. Hopefully I can avoid paying off everyone I meet. Because...
Seems like you owe a lot of favors and a lot of money, Dutch.
Doesn't everyone?
Well, some. But I like to keep my finances in a little bit more of order. Finances, finances, finances. So, what you doing here? What can I help you with in my home?
I'd like to leave, actually. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would. No, where are we going? Yeah, so I just need to speak to someone.
And who is it you need to speak to? Maybe I can help.
Elder Whitbray.
Why do you need to see that old cunt?
Because I've got to ask him a question.
Fair enough. Go on then. On your way. I won't bother you. I'm not getting involved in any of that. No
It's
chance.
been a pleasure. And I give him a big rolling bow.
He kind of tips his head towards you as well. Just when you see Randala, just, I don't know, tell her I said hey, and maybe we can get another drink sometime. And he kind of winks towards you and saunters off.
As he leaves, like as his eyes like cross us both, I just sort of let the like illusion like drop slightly, and you just sees like the sort of almost like slightly undead face of Dylan, like with the like gashed neck and the yellow eyes.
And then
But then it like comes back up. It's almost like just there for a second.
he keeps his smile, but you can see his eyes slightly widen as he says that. So you continue. Good persuasion roll. You eventually make your way to a kind of area of the Bard district where there's kind of like walled courtyard areas with gardens. And following the instructions from that bartender, you make your way to a gate. You can see beyond this iron gate, there's a small garden courtyard that looks to be fairly well tended. A path leads up to a large mansion. It's quite tall. It's more like a kind of tower. And you can see that the door is open, and piled in front of the door is like kind of boxes. You can see an old grandfather clock that's sort of leaning on its side. You can see various paintings that are kind of stacked and bound. In the courtyard garden, there is, like off to the right, a large statue of your father, Elderwick Grey, in all his kind of bardic regalia with his lute out front. There's even these kind of stone or what looks to be maybe metal and welded lines of what could be magic, but in kind of frozen mid-air as he lets loose this powerful blast of bardic energy. And a woman shouting from within the kind of the slightly ajar door. You can hear her saying, "Bring those over here. Put them outside. Oh, come, Yunin, you useless boy." And you see appearing from the doorway a very pale, almost shimmery skinned, golden-eyed boy of maybe 18 years old. He has a little bit of kind of downy fluff on his face that's kind of very blonde. His hair kind of this blonde color. He wears a dark doublet, and he looks to have this like black mastiff at his kind of heels as he's carrying out what looks to be a bunch of paintings, and kind of puts them down on the side. And as he puts them down, he kind of looks up down the path and sees two strangers standing behind the front gate. And we will cut to Zook and Ruthus. Zook and Ruthus,
Okay.
you head towards the Mages University within the Andriont. I'd like one of you to roll me a d10, please.
You
Do
did.
the honors.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's a 7.
Good job.
A 7. Okay, let me have a look.
Lucky number.
That's a gnome number.
That's a gnome number. So it's the number of dwarfs that were given rings.
As you make your way through the kind of the courtyards, you head across the. It's like a section of it's the beginning of the Gilded Way, which is essentially where those statues are. But the Gilded Way leads all the way across the southern bridge and through. So from the top, you actually have this view that cuts all the way down through Xanthar city, right to the docks and the sea. It's like one long straight road. You kind of begin kind of walking along it and crossing it, and you see what looks to be a military dressed high elf. He's in the kind of like military upper regalia, but they are a sun elf. And you see they raise their hand as they kind of approach you. They have what looks to be a long dueling rapier at one side. Their kind of outfit is that of it's kind of jewel encrusted, and there's lots of what look to be kind of medals and of various kinds on their kind of breast pocket. They are very handsome sun elf, tall. Their hair is kind of slicked back, which is also kind of golden almost, like the sun elves have. And as he approaches, he looks towards you. You must be Rufus Suncrest. And he kind of points towards you. And you, Zook? Is it Zook?
Aye.
Have we met?
We have not. My name is Wendlin. I believe you know my brother, Waylon?
You're what? Waylon has a brother?
Looking sort of at him now, you see he indeed looks remarkably like Waylon. A handsome, chiseled, sort of taller, not hunched version of Waylon.
His brother. Are you much younger, perhaps?
Only by a few minutes, I believe. But I assume he doesn't talk with me much then.
No.
Well, that's
He's never
my
mentioned
older
you.
brother for me. For you.
Did you take all of the joy and cheer in the womb? Because he hasn't got any, and you seem to have some aplenty.
Oh, I mean, if it were so. No. He must have told you about his time here, surely.
He's not a talker, is he, Rufus?
He's a cantankerous old elf.
A sod, one might say?
You could put it like that, yes.
Well, he wasn't always like that. I mean, spitting image of me, really. But
Not so much nowadays.
no, indeed, war does that to people. And I mean, being tortured by Kirkleyan soldiers for a good few years, that also doesn't help.
Zook looks to Rufus and just kind of gives him a little look of like, ooh. maybe we should take him out for dinner in Miri when we get back. Just show him a good time.
If he can handle it.
How is he? How is my brother?
The word I used earlier describes him perfectly. Cantankerous.
But physically, is he well?
No, he's quite cantankerous in his appearance also.
Very well.
Last we spoke, he mentioned soiling himself regularly on a daily basis.
Disgusting, quite honestly, disgusting. Well, I mean,
But
I do feel sorry for him somewhat.
the mind is still there, I suppose. He's still as sharp as ever.
He's done a lot of good for the town, I have to say. You should be very proud.
Oh, I mean, of course I am. As proud as a brother can be for, deserting his post and leaving the Empire entirely and never speaking to me again, seemingly. I write to him fairly regularly, and I assume my letters get there, but, he does not return them. Sorry,
I see.
It's family matters, of course. I hate to bother you, but would you, and he pulls out a letter and hands it to you, Rufus, if you do end up traveling his way again, give him the letter from me.
Sure, I will do.
Wendlin, was there anything that Waylon particularly loved as a younger elf?
As a younger elf? Oh, well, I mean, dueling was his favorite pastime. He was...
Anything?
He won the grand tourney of the Adriot twice in a row. I mean, he was formidable. The best. You ask anyone of my age or older around here, and they'll tell you. They all remember.
This is before he showed an interest in the arcane?
Oh, when he he's always had a slight fascination with that, of course, yes. Tinkering away late at night. But I think after his unfortunate accident, he went downhill somewhat and, took to being part of the Inquisition, as I'm sure you're aware. And he dabbled in various magics then and spent a lot of time, many, many years, I guess, unlocking that potential, as he could no longer follow his dueling passions as before. But yes, no, dueling was his favorite.
I see.
Do we know what he's talking about in terms of like the war and the Inquisition?
I have mentioned on a few times. Waylon has mentioned that he was part of the Inquisition of the Empire. This isn't the first time I've said that, but whether or not, it was a long time ago. So.
And what have you been doing, Gwendolyn?
Oh, who, me? Well, that's very kind of you to ask. I have, I've been keeping up the family tradition. He kind of taps his rapier to his side. Although, I train the youngsters now. But I, fought in many wars for the Empire and won many battles. And kind of touches his medals. I mean, it's no bragging, really, but, you did ask.
Do you have more family here?
We did. But, I have a family. I have 2 sons, although quite young. But no, our mother died when we were quite young, and our father passed away only but a handful of years ago.
Mm-hmm. My condolences. There may be wars to come that the Empire may get involved in. Are there any that they're fighting right now?
Oh, yes. We're fighting on a few different fronts, but I'm afraid, it's sort of classified. You are not of the Empire. Although, Rufus, where do you stand? I hear you're outside, but you're inside. I hear you're here with the Soul Reach woman.
We're here as an entourage of Celeste.
Quite right. Yes, that was it.
That's where we stand at this moment in time.
Let me know if you'd like me to, perhaps we'll have a duel or something. It'd be quite interesting. But for now, I better get back to work. He kind of points over. Family tradition and all. The Inquisition calls, and he turns and begins walking kind of off the main gilded way, and you can see he's heading towards 2 Inquisitors that are standing by like the side and the hedgerow. They're just watching you both, and he heads back towards them. You see him wave a hand towards them. The ingrates, come on! And kind of points off in a different direction.
I don't think we want to get on the wrong side of him.
Before he leaves, he turns just sort of back to you both, and I don't think Rufus would notice this, but Zook, with a really high perception, you would. He turns round as you're kind of chatting and just watches you for maybe 5 or 6 seconds, and then carries on walking.
I don't like this one bit.
My word. He's the swordsman he must be. He's had hundreds of years to hone his skill.
Maybe
combined
you could learn
with
a thing or two.
Perhaps. Combined with a natural inclination towards magic, he must be powerful. But he said that Wayland was the real power in his day. It's hard to believe.
There's a lot we don't know about that wizard.
No.
I feel like maybe we should ask him more questions when we return.
No.
Tortured?
I don't even know how he ended up in Umiri in the first place. He was just always there.
For someone that supposedly deserted the Empire, Wendelin didn't seem too angry. Although I don't like the look he gave us. He seemed very suspicious at the end there. And 2 Inquisitors? That elf is watching. He's a dangerous man.
Perhaps a spy for the other elves. They're keeping watch over us.
I don't think we should stick around.
No. Let's move on.
You make your way across the Andriont. You can see jogging up behind you at this point, because I forgot. You see Resquire, Calcia. He kind of catches up. Oh, you were speaking to Master Wendelin, and he's like sweating. Oh,
You know him?
what did he say? Did he? Is my job okay? And he's like wiping his brow. Is he? Did he ask of me?
Oh, I'm not allowed to lie. I just remembered I was gonna troll him really hard.
He said
He spoke no words of you.
He did look at you though, with a quite a displeasing look.
He did.
You're employed by him, no?
No, God, no. No, but he's extremely powerful. He's extremely powerful.
I see.
What's
Are you
his
scared of him?
reputation?
He kind of gulps. To the Mages University, perhaps? You can roll me a persuasion check, though, Rethus.
Yeah. A 25.
And he kind of looks around. He leans in. He's...
Go on. You can tell me, son.
He's ruthless. There are stories about him. He's the head of the Inquisition. He's tortured hundreds of people. Probably anyone that looks the wrong way or steps out of line, they're done for.
Remind me, what's the Inquisition's purpose?
Well, it's just law and order, basically.
I see.
I see. And who falls outside of this law and order? Criminals or unbelievers?
Oh, outside? You mean who's above it?
No, who is the target of the Inquisition?
Anyone undesirable.
Anyone. It's just law. They're the judges. They're the sentences.
I see.
I mean, the Emperor, I guess. I mean, even the Inquisition's separate to the palace. It's not. It has its own role in the Senate.
Has the Emperor ever touched his forehead before?
I don't know. What? The Emperor touched. The Emperor doesn't touch anyone.
Oh, does he not?
No.
Not just anyone.
People don't even
give
see
Rufus.
the Emperor, let alone him touch anyone.
I give Rethus a knowing wink. Shall we go?
Yes, we should. And he's constantly looking over his shoulder again. You head towards the Mages University. We shall go back to the brothers. You see a kind of nervous hand is raised, but no smile. Union's just kind of waves towards you. He begins stepping down towards the gate, and as he kind of approaches, you see a woman exit from the building, standing in the doorway. She is. I'll put this music on instead. Actually, she is tall and she is elven. She looks to be a regular moon elf. She's dressed. She has a very long neck, and her hair is pulled back extremely tight. She has like a kind of brown hair that's pulled into a really tight bun. Sharp features, sharp pointed ears, long neck, extremely sort of curvaceous. Her breasts are almost a little bit too extravagant. Her waist kind of cinches in and kind of spreads round this kind of dress. She stands there and kind of peers down. And who is it? Who's there, Yunin? Yunin kind of turns to her and turns back to you. Hi, brother.
Yunin, I suppose.
I imagine the hour has definitely passed, unless you want to cast it again.
I'll let it be. I must apologize. I've undergone quite the experience and transformation since we met last, and indeed my memories of our previous meeting are not well known to me.
I'd like you to make me a charisma saving throw with advantage, please.
4?
4. No memory of Yunin, unfortunately, in Draug's form. Oh. Hey, Dutch.
Hey,
Come in, and he leans and unlocks the door. Who is it? Yunin? This is Dylan. This is Dylan, my brother. I told you about him. Do you remember? He seems really kind of like as shy and as sort of awkward as you remember him before. I'm just getting up this bit.
I've heard that my father is a naturally charismatic character. Something I can't quite relate to. It seems that we are more akin in that matter.
Yes. I mean, perhaps he takes it all for himself, maybe. The lady begins kind of walking down, and you can see. Well, introduce me, Yunin, and he turns and says, this is Dad's wife, Kethrilia Farwain, and she turns and says, Yunin, you just call me Mum, you call me Mother. It's very simple. And so you are one of Eldric's sons, one of his other ones, are you? She peers down towards you. Come to say bye.
I believe he called me Dylan.
Dylan, yes. Very well. He's upstairs. Go in. Don't be long, though. We've got lots to do. Come on, Yunin. We've got to take this stuff. And she begins kind of turning round. Are you coming, Yunin? Yes. Yes, Miss Farwain. Call me Mother, Yunin. Yes, Mother.
Yunin come with us? It might be better given the circumstances.
Okay, fine. I'll be in the kitchen. And she kind of storms off back into the house. Yunin kind of turns around. So sorry about her.
How many children does Eldrick have? Supposedly.
I don't know. Quite a few. I've only met you and two others.
And you sent out letters, much the same as you did to myself?
Yeah. I just thought that probably it was the best thing to do. It seemed like the right thing to do. Sorry.
I suppose Dylan should be angry, but
So
I'm just confused.
your voice is different. You're not the same. I'd hoped that I don't know what I'd hoped. I'm really sorry about what happened in Xanthar.
Yes. Well, at least we have Eldwick to thank for giving an old friend a second chance, even if it didn't last long. Kofin, the elf that he saved, he passed again, unfortunately, doing a great deed.
I'm sorry about that too.
That's okay.
And
I think that the fact that Eldwick gave him life once more, he had a purpose to fulfill. That's what I tell myself, at least. But again, my memories are foggy of this.
it's good to see you as well, Dutch. I'm sorry. Sorry about what happened as well in the arena.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't obviously know any about that at all. Father didn't. He didn't even tell me you existed, either of you. I mean, I didn't really know who he was until he came in. Yeah. Anyway, come inside.
How is he?
Not good. I should warn you. He's really not good. He might not even remember who you are. He keeps.
What is it? Is it age that plagues him, or is it an illness?
It's a deterioration of the mind, the doctors say. There's nothing that can be done, magic or.
How old is he? He cannot be that old. He cannot be old enough for such things to.
I think he was probably older than we all thought. He's such a powerful magician. He used glamours to make himself look younger than I think. He looks old now, much older than he ever looked with me.
Well, I guess there's nothing for it. Perhaps. Do not worry. Please show us the way.
Okay. Follow me, and he leads you into the tower. You pass all of these, essentially what looks to be things from the inside of the house that are just being piled outside. She's been selling everything in preparation, I guess.
What does she intend to do?
He kind of looks. You can hear her bashing around and talking to herself in the kitchen. She's just stealing all his money, I guess.
She's an opportunist.
Well, I mean, she had to marry him, so I don't know. Maybe it's worth it. He kind of smiles a bit. Sorry, that was meant to be a joke.
It was funny. Don't worry. My sense of humor's not great at the best of times. Dutch here, he's better.
I mean, it's all just terribly, terribly sad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit. Anyway, follow me, and he leads you through, and the tower itself from the outside appears quite thin, and upon entering inside it is a grand and majestic tower, but it's bare. There are the kind of dusty area around a clean section of where portraits would have covered the walls. everything like looks to be kind of being moved. It's like someone's just essentially selling everything in the house.
They're gutting the place.
Yeah, they're absolutely gutting it. Like curtains are gone. Like everything is just basically being sold. He leads you up a spiraling wooden staircase that kind of creaks. It looks to be the carpet that covered the rug that went up the stairs has been stripped out. There's like that kind of white wood where the nails have been kind of pulled. And you enter a kind of dimly lit chamber. And there, lying on a bed, probably one of the only things not sold in the room, a big, elaborate 4-poster bed, is...
Before we enter, can I do something?
Yeah, you can.
As much as his might not be what it was before I saw him, I want man to be. Please. I'm sure you won't be, considering where we met originally, but don't be alarmed. And I'll hybrid transformation. And once I've done that, I will also use another spell cast to make myself look like Dylan before anything happened to him.
Union doesn't even react. He just kind of watches you do it, and you shift, and he changes. Oh yeah, no, that's like how I remember you. He just kind of points it out.
Well, as I'm a wolf.
No, when
as I'm
once
yeah.
you've done it after.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'll just wait outside the room, and he kind of throws a hand down towards the floor, and the shadows kind of coil together, and the dog appears once more out of the shadow, and he kind of sits down by it, and just kind of as it dribbles on him, he strokes it. His shadow mastiff.
Dutch, if you wouldn't mind, I have a moment, but I won't rob you from what you deserve, but give me a few minutes, if that's okay.
Of course, brother. And I'll just walk into a corner and pick my thumbs.
The dog kind of gets up from Union's lap and kind of pants its way over to you. Kind of, it's like a big mastiff with its like jowls, and it's kind of just looking up at you.
Ook pops off my shoulder and like toddles over towards Union, and like just looks up at him and just like.
Union's he scoops it up, and he's like, a bored kid playing with an animal. And you step into the chamber. You can see in the bed sheets, just kind of staring up at the ceiling, the wizened form of Elderwick. His sheets are kind of all strewn about him. His face is really gaunt, very skeletal. His hair almost like slightly thinner. Is that you, dear?
I'll just step closer. Just look into the face of this man, and I suppose as Dylan, I know who this is, and from the previous experiences that I've had.
He meets your eyes. I'm gonna roll. He meets your eyes, and then his face relaxes. Dylan, my boy. Puts a hand up, sort of towards your face.
I flinch at first, but knowing that this is a dying man, my kind of sympathy does come through, and I suppose I relax into it a little bit. I wasn't expecting you to recognize me.
How could I not recognize my own son? You don't look a day older than I last saw you. That's your mother's blood. Yes.
I'm afraid this is a bit of a glamour.
Oh, a glamour.
Much as you have experience with.
Yes.
I didn't want to confuse your mind in this time.
no confusion here. As right as day. Right as day. Fetch my loot. Fetch my loot, Dylan. I shall sing
Are
a
you
song.
sure Are you sure you can?
Yes, I'm sure. Yes.
Is his loot there?
You look around the room. No loot in the room.
There's no loot, Father.
Union's probably hidden it. Or Sasquare. Was it Sasquare? The other boy. The other boy. I forget.
How many sons? How many children have you had over the years? How many siblings do I have scattered across the continent?
I'm not sure. Dylan, you've come back. Yes.
Did you ask Yunin to send for me?
Who?
Yunin, your son.
Oh.
Who lives with you?
I'm confused. I'm thirsty. Dylan, there's some water, perhaps.
Is there water?
Yeah, there's a cup of water on the bedside table.
Okay. I'll pass him some water.
He kind of moves his lips towards it. He swallows. It looks like it's hard to swallow. Like he's just trying to swallow water.
Is it age that ravages you?
Yes, there's nothing else. I did think that I'd be able to avoid it somehow. I thought my escapades would pay off and I would live. I have lived longer than I ever should have. Much longer.
I always assumed you were... I never questioned your age.
I'm only human, Dylan. But you and your other brothers, you're more special. You have the blood of all manner of things.
I wish I felt special. I don't.
Well, you are young, and you have yet to find your way in the world and become special. You'll get there. You'll be as great as me, I'm sure.
And have your I don't think Yunin or myself have your confidence.
No.
I don't think we see the world in the same way.
I pity that.
When I was young, I imagined you as this enigma, this individual who the world was your playground. And you could do as you will with it, and it was nothing but joy.
Yes.
But as soon as I experienced the world outside of well, it was always hard, but I only ever saw how hard it was, how unfair it was, how hard it was for the average person. And my experience thus far has shown me nothing different. There has been joy, of course, but life is a struggle, and I don't know. I'm babbling. I apologize.
Who are you? What are you doing in my chambers?
It's Dylan.
Get out! Who are you? Get out of here! Guards! Someone! Get out! And you can see he's becoming quite agitated. He's wriggling about.
I'm one of your sons, Elderwick. Your mind is leaving you.
Please leave. Please. I don't have anything. He's like looking about the room.
My emotions for you have always been extreme. I wanted to be exactly like you when I was young. And then, of course, when I realised that you didn't truly care about me or my mother, I hated you. And I learned to love someone whose life you changed. You impacted, you inextricably changed for what they were meant to be. That person I love more than any of other sibling that I supposedly have strewn across the continent. I guess now I forgive you. But I do owe it to that person that they at least try and get some answers from you. I see that you're distressed, but it must be that this person, they deserve these answers, because both of us, we changed their life, and we.
He closes his eyes. You must leave. You must.
I know. Just as you left me many times, and now you can't leave again. You're asking me to leave. I know your mind is not what it is, but our relationship's never been fair. But I suppose I needed to say goodbye, so I'll leave it at that. But I made a promise. Someone I love far more than I ever loved you. And I intend to keep that promise. I'll just send a message to Dutch to ask him to come in.
You kind of wake a little bit from your slumber with the dog. What do you do, Dutch? You making your way in?
Yeah, I'm gonna make my way in.
You approach the bed.
Grapple him.
Got a natural 20. Hello, Dutch.
Hello, Elderwick. Guessing you know why I'm here.
Come to kill me, have you?
And it comes to ask you why.
Why? Why what?
Why you did it.
To be honest, I don't really know. There was a relic that I needed.
What relic?
It was a set of teeth, I believe, that had some magical properties of scrying, and I needed it to find someone that was irrelevant to the entire situation, and it turns out that it was just a fable and didn't even really work. I think I've got some armor or something somewhere in the house. I'm not going to use it. You can have it.
Are you in pain in that bed?
Some. Look, for what it's worth, Dutch, I didn't, you know. It's just part of the job as an adventurer. You've got to. It wasn't right. It wasn't right. But you know, it happened, and you're lucky to have a brother such as Dylan, and I don't know, look where you are now. I'm sure you're doing well. You would have grown up there. What a life that would have been. Terrible. But
Terrible.
The whole thing wretched. Quite wretched.
We toiled on the streets for our entire childhood, Father.
Well, yes.
We had one parent who loved us. Dutch would have had two if we'd have left him there.
I wouldn't have seen my friends die. I wouldn't have seen the horrors that I've seen. I would have known my lineage, my father, my mother, my ancestors, the story of my people. And you robbed that from me. You robbed me the knowledge of myself. And now all I can do is hope that you suffer and the bed sores on your back weep, get infected, and maggots crawl up and eat you from the inside. Because I can't kill something like this. Something this weak, and pathetic, and wretched.
He kind of glazes over a little and looks up towards you both. What are you doing in my chambers? What are you doing? Please, someone.
I
Someone,
take Dutch's
there's
hand.
thieves here. Please. Please.
Yeah, I'd like to leave.
You turn and leave the room. You hear the kind of cries of Elderwick following you. Union kind of gets up and looks anxiously towards you both. Don't go yet. Come with me. And he leads you up another flight of stairs and up one more to the top of the tower. Everything has been emptied, and in the top floor, set into the wall, is a door. The door on it has what looks to be made of some kind of dark metal, and across it, kind of smelted into it, it looks to be a tail. It's got Elderwick there. You can see him fighting with various beasts. There's a dragon, there's a fair maiden, there's a sort of this story on it. I haven't managed to get it open, but neither has she. It's Elderwick's vault. I don't know, I thought maybe you might be able to. And I don't know, take whatever you need.
Do you reckon the armor could be in there, brother? Or Elderwick, have you heard of orcish armor? Something he took?
I haven't seen anything in the tower. But if he says he's got some, it'd be in here.
How much time do we have? How much time could I spend with this to see if I can decipher it?
Well, wait, there's a wall, is there, Tashi?
Yeah, it's the stone wall of the tower.
I mean, we could just go through the wall, brother.
Roll me an intelligence check, both of you.
That's a 7.
A 7. We're going to end literally in a sec. I realise we've gone over.
1. it's good. 15, I think.
This is
15.
this is an outside wall. From the outside, this didn't seem to lead. This would just lead to the open air. There's a window just like to the side, and it just looks
Do
straight
it. Oh,
out.
fuck. Okay.
I've seen him open it once. He sang to it, and the door talked. He knows the door, but I couldn't get it to. I don't know.
Wait, this door talks.
I couldn't get it
Door
to come
speak.
awake.
Let me try something. Can I put on my heat glove?
Yep.
The one that sets things on fire, and just hold it against the wooden door and be like, if you don't want to be turned
It's not
into...
wood, it's a dark metal.
Oh, cunt. I start pissing on it. If you don't want to rust, I suggest you open.
Oh, Union kind of is like, oh, and he looks away.
It's alright, I've spoken to doors before. They're a bunch of pricks.
You piss on the door,
Gotcha.
and there's no effect.
Fuck.
Dutch, was that really necessary?
And with the stink of urine in your nose and a door left unturned, we will end today's session there.
Hey.
And we shall pick up the rest of Xanthar Adventures on Monday for our day session.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh. We can think of some things how to.
Yeah, annoyingly, you don't have Richter with you. Very
Yeah,
good.
that's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
However, you're
was
in
like-
you're in Xanthar City. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible in the big plum.
I didn't realise I was Rupert for a second, and I was very confused about where that was from.
Before we go,
fucking confused.
everyone watching, we have a session on the 31st in 4 days' time. We're playing Monday. We're playing during the day. We're going to hope to start probably about, I reckon, 9:30. Do you reckon? If not 10,
Yeah,
I reckon it's
we'll
more
do our
likely
best.
to be 10.
We'll do our best.
Because
It's
we-
going to be like 2-3 hour sessions, I'd imagine.
Yep. And
So we'll try and we'll have a break for lunch.
we'll have
Yeah.
a break for lunch. We'll carry on. It's going to
Yeah.
be very merry. We're all going to be in person. I encourage everyone to come and watch. It should be pretty raucous. You've already
gonna
said you're
be
going to drink on the
fucking
train on the way over at 8:30 in the morning.
8:30 in the morning.
You know, we'll see how
We shall struggle
Caffeinated beverages.
I
much we
didn't-
can get
beverages.
through.
espresso martinis.
Yeah. It will be intense.
But we're live, and it's not alcohol.
Also, I'll just
We can level up.
I'll just shift over
Oh.
to Lynn.
please.
plug that socket.
You can check out the assorted merchandise of James Gifford.
This is the shittest advert I've ever seen. This is more insulting than not doing it.
Is that a different voice of promotion for James
It's
Gifford's
the assorted
Manchester?
magical items from James
Oh.
Gifford. I just went to the other
Oh.
camera and went no.
Yeah.
But I realised that my mic's here, so
Yeah. Yeah. Work. Yeah.
compatible
Damn.
with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons as always.
Oh my god.
Check it out, James Gifford.
Oh,
It's great. It's good
Where
stuff.
can I get
it's,
one?
it's hot stuff.
Check out
He
his Instagram
has,
and Patreon.
and he has a
Yeah.
glorious moustache.
And his body. Check
yeah.
that out.
I mean,
While you're
If you
there.
can
Like,
find it.
Go to
Anywhere on the
Patreon to buy the cards, and then check him out on social media.
Yeah. On his OnlyFans page.
so
Yeah.
James,
OnlyFans.
For real.
James Gifford.
He doesn't. He doesn't. I can't say that.
He also
Um,
does.
He's got his own set of
Sorry.
cards specifically on sale there.
He does maps, like dungeon maps for things like Roll20 or online. He does characters.
Medieval nudes.
He does
He's-
pole dancing.
He does.
He does maypole dancing. Nude.
He's IFPB world champion. Like,
Thanks
Well,
for
this is
watching.
gonna carry on.
Thanks for
29.
watching, everyone.
We love
see
you.
We'll see you Monday. We'll see you
See-
Monday.
It's
We
going to
know
be
you're
filthy.
Don't
It's
forget
gonna be
dinner's in the
filthy.
chat, and good luck.
Dinner's in the chat.
It's going to be
Cheers.
breakfast in the
Watching.
chat on Monday.
It's going to be breakfast
oh,
in
yeah.
the chat. All right, bye.